Hello, everybody, and welcome into MMS Money Racing live from the high banks of Talladega Superspeedway. Joining me in the booth tonight, co-host Jacob Emery, and we appreciate everybody tuning in. You are watching on Ghost Racing Network. Jacob, we got a good one in store tonight, 100 laps at one of the baddest tracks in NASCAR, and a lot of money on the line. How you doing tonight?
Man, I am good. It's good to be back in the booth with you, Austin, here at Talladega. I can't wait for the race. 100 laps, long one. Money race tonight.
Yeah, it certainly is. So let's go ahead and get right off the get-go with your race info here tonight. Again, McCall Motorsports Money Racing. These guys still a relatively new group. They put on a big event in the American 500, drew a lot of attention, and since then, boy, they have just kind of took off, been getting a lot of crowd, and here we go. Taking a look at the event tonight, it's going to be the MMS 260 here in the Craftsman Truck Series, 100 laps. Everybody going to have 70% fuel, unlimited tires, one fast pair in your pocket if you need it, fixed setups, and 3 green-white checkers if we were to need them. Looking more at the track info, Talladega Superspeedway, 2.65 miles in length. Track temperature only 80 degrees, so handling should not be too big of an issue. Weather outside 78 degrees, no humidity, very dry. Clear skies and winds at 1 mile an hour. That is also not going to be a factor here tonight. Taking a look at your starting grid here on the pole, it's going to be Alex Hill in first. Andrew Navarro, he'll line up back in second with Ken McCall Jr. rolling off in third. Back and forth, it's Jason Maines with Garrett Maines and Matt Lee in row number 3. David Sheets, another one of McCall Motorsports drivers, he will start in 7th. Jeff Merck back in 8th. John Mullihan in 9th. And Aubrey Thompson rounding out your top 10. Going on back to 11th, it'll be Kenneth Stamper. Trevor Osborne starts in 12th. Justin Mills in 13th. Danny Elsterman to his outside in 14th. Zach Range and Dallas Knox making up row number 8. And in row 9, it'll be Jessica Childs and Larry McDonald. Samuel S. Carter starts 19th. And rounding out your top 20 tonight is going to be Steve Sizemore in the 5 truck. Josh Gambrone starts 21st. Brett Myers in 22nd. Mark Vondell, another one of McCall Motorsports drivers, he starts 23rd. Chris Parkman to his outside in 24th. Brandon Broadfoot in 25th. Jimmy Shelton 26th. Ron Morse Jr. in 27th. Cole Fitzpatrick 28th. John Ward in 29th. And Dylan Jones rounding out your top 30. Nash Brambilla starts 31st for Team PGR. Joshua McCall in 32nd. Cody Atchley 33rd. Dustin Carruthers in 34th with Danny Barnes in 35th. Ambrose Kniebel 36th. Jonathan Herbert starts 37th. And Jimmy Emos rounding out your field tonight. He will start in the 38th position. Taking a quick look before we get green. Actually, we'll hold it until we get going green. Jeff Merck, our only guy carrying an onboard camera for us here tonight. Give us some looks from inside the cockpit as this race goes on. But, man, Jacob, I'm telling you, you can already feel that energy starting to get up. We'll talk about payouts later on in the race, but $300 to the winner for a $30 entry, that's a lot of money, and these guys are going to be going at it, I think, right from the drop of the green right here.
Yeah, big time field tonight here. I'm already seeing the number 77 in that Chevy, Alex Hill up front. He's going to take us away, going to get the green flag. Austin, we're going to go racing here at Talladega. Can't wait.
He's ready to go, and so are we. Here we go. Pace car is going to pull off for the first time here tonight. Double header from McCall Motorsports Money Racing tonight, but it starts here with 100 laps at Talladega in the Craftsman Truck Series. Into the restart zone they go. Green flag is in the air. And they are wrecking, so we'll actually hold that thought. We were just getting ready to let these guys go. That's a big one. Oh, my goodness. A junkyard in turn 1 before everybody even gets up to speed. What in the world started this chain reaction? I mean, you got probably about half the field in this one, Emery. My goodness.
Yeah, unfortunate there. We got Brandon. Looks like he went off the track. He's involved. We got a lot of other drivers in the back. It might be a checkup situation here. We have to take another look at this, Austin.
Yeah, certainly do. Here we go. Let's go back. Get right off the replay. This actually starts probably, again, right about mid-pack. There you go. John Mullihan. That's his teammate, David Sheets, just in front. 2 McCall Motorsports drivers. And you got to wonder, is that where this is going to start? Watch the 2. We'll play at full speed first. And a little bit of a checkup. No harm, no. Ooh. Yeah, that's all. That's pretty much, that starts with 2 McCall Motorsports drivers. And back that up one more time and kind of explain exactly what it was that happens. So I'm not sure if it doesn't really look like much of a checkup, if anything, maybe just a little bit. But watch John Mullihan in the 2, fifth truck on the inside. He's going to get into the back of his teammate here, David Sheets, and then he goes to go up. I think he thinks he's clear right here, but that little bit of a stack up All of a sudden, he's not clear when he goes to go up. Jeff Merck's there, and they make contact. Hooks the two straight into the wall. Nowhere to go for Jeff Merck. He's going to plow back in, and these two, they start on the outside wall, but they're quickly going to come right back down. The rest of the field is going to have nowhere to go, and they weren't even up to speed, so I'm a little surprised, Jacob, at how many guys piled into this one. But, yeah, this is a mess early on. Ambrose, you see him piling in late. Larry McDonald spun around. Nashper and Billa. This is going to be that one fast pair early here for a lot of the heavy hitters.
Yeah, unfortunate there too. If with a fast repair taking it this early in the race, we only got 2 laps down. We got to go all the way to the 100 mark. So unfortunate that a lot of these drivers have to go in, get that fast repair, come back out, and guess what? That's gone. They don't want to get no more damage the rest of the race. They've got to stay clean.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a fair assumption to say that this is going to make everybody probably go single, if not double file at the most here for a little while to cool things down. But I think the 16 probably gets the worst of that. You see everybody else able to roll away. Chris Parkman, oh, I take that back. He's got no hood, no right front fender. Yeah, that 8 truck, that's not looking too pretty. John Mullihan gets back rolling. He's missing a right front fender as well. And with the new damage model, these trucks are a lot more sensitive than they once were. So any sort of damage that maybe doesn't feel as bad from the cockpit view as it happens is going to be a lot worse than you think it is. Let's take an onboard view here actually with John Mullihan through this. And then we'll go to Jeff Merck after that and take a look from his nose cam. So watch this stack up. And again, it doesn't take much. Right as this stack up happens, Merck gets a little push. And then when Mullihan goes to go up, just not clear. And that had to catch both guys by surprise. And again, nothing Merck could do. He has had a lot of bad luck as of recent. And it just continues with an incident here that he can't help. This will be the final view we take of this one here from the wall cam. Just as we got going, one of the earliest cautions we've seen in a while. We'll see how the carnage all was able to equal out as we go back live. Up front, it is Andrew Navarro being scored as your leader. Alex Hill second. Ken McCall Jr. back in third. Jason Maines in fourth. Matt Lee fifth. Garrett Maines in sixth. David Sheets in seventh with Aubrey Thompson in eighth. Zach Range in ninth. Jessica Childs, she's already made up some positions. In fact, make it 7 from where she started. She is currently rounding out your top 10. You look towards the back here, Jacob. We're seeing a lot of the damaged trucks. Looks like some of them had to use the fast pair, some of them didn't. If you find yourself in this position as a driver, what are you doing? Do you think you come back up, or do you think you chill out if you already had to use that fast pair?
Well, that's the thing, man. A lot of these drivers up front, like Hill and Jason Maines, they're 1 and 2, 2 and 3, and hey, you're clean. You got a clean truck. I think that was the right move. The guys in the back might have had a different strategy, but now guess what? That's out the window. You got to use your fast repair. Now you got to keep that truck clean the rest of this race. So it's going to be fun to see how this transpires onto the racetrack and see what happens.
So talking about strategy, this isn't going to have a big effect. We said 70% fuel, and looking at actual laps, that should be right around, let's see, 75 for these guys. Make it, we'll call halfway, right around 16 laps on these trucks. You go probably about halfway between that and 30. Put them right around maybe 25, anywhere between, no, maybe a little bit less than that, actually. I'm going to take that back. I'm going to say somewhere between maybe 20 and 25 on fuel. But we'll keep an eye on that. And again, based off when they make that first stop, that'll give us the full idea and the full spectrum of just how many laps they can go. But right now, Andrew Navarro, he's not concerned about fuel. He finds himself out in front early in the going. One of the guys that doesn't necessarily have any teammates, but you're going to see him pairing together with some of these bigger names, such as Alex Hill. Of course, who we know is on, well, was on NBG, now on Dale Cup. Doesn't have his teammate, though, and Cody Nagels here tonight. Jason Maines, Garrett Maines up here. Those two maybe going to pair together with Andrew Navarro. There's Matt Lee, David Sheets just behind him. Further back in the field, talked about, even though it was an early wreck and you would think there was no time to get passing, it collected so many trucks that it shuffled up so many positions. So at the front here, we're going to kind of get a fresh start and see what happens. We talked about who we had for driver cams earlier, and it looks like, yeah, Mr. Jeff Merck himself, the only man that we are going to have on the driver cam. We'll take a quick look at him. And so I don't think he had to use his fast pair. Couldn't tell exactly how bad the damage was. But from what it initially looked like, Jacob, I think Merck's okay here. You see him catching the field, though, now on that 60 machine, and man, he really is looking to change his luck around after that start to the race.
Yeah, I love to see that. Some of these other drivers that made a big move up top. John Ward in that 92, the Chevy, he's up 17 spots as it sits. Brandon in that 22, he's up 13 spots. He's sitting 12th. Now, that's the big key here. They got to do a restart. We got to go green here shortly. Pace car lights are off, I believe, and we're going to go back racing, Austin. Let's see if these boys can calm down a little bit and get some good green flag racing in.
And the one thing that I'll tell you what I find so interesting when we come to these money races and get to broadcast these kind of events is We do a ton of league races, right? We come to these super speedways. The general idea is too wide, maybe single file for a little bit, get some pit stops. But man, you get to these money racing events and it's just never the case. Too wide for a couple laps, all of a sudden they find themselves 3x3 through about half of the pack. And that's where we get to see all the action, all the excitement, but that's where you run the risk of getting yourself in a wreck. 100 laps, and we've only completed 4, going to be 5 at the line. Still a long ways to go. You want to keep that fast pair for the end. Well, we tried to go for a little bit of a crank it up segment right off the get-go. Didn't happen because we wrecked. So we are going to go ahead and try it again. As the pace car pulls off, they will roll up into the Geico restart zone. Navarro and Hill are going to lead them in. Back through the gears. We're going to go. Green flag is back in the air at Talladega. Already starting to see a lot of separations here through a couple of these different packs that are starting to form, but it's Ken McCall Jr. who led him across the line that time just as quick as he does. Alex Hill in the 77 looking to poke a nose back out in front. And his Chevy Silverado, he's getting a big push right now from Andrew Navarro and Jason Maines. Still 2x2 though as they head down the Alabama Gang super stretch.
Absolutely, 2x2. We thought they might go single file with an early caution, but that's not the case. They're out here racing 2x2. Alex Hill still up front. Andrew in that 42, he's second.
Talked about no teammates, and you can tell he knows he's going to have to be aggressive early on, right up to the top lane here in just the first lap. After going back green, he's trying to control. Everybody thinks this is blocking. It's not. Ken McCall Jr. chose not to split him. Alex Hill trying to let Andrew Navarro cool down a little bit on the inside. Watch for the 77 to maybe jump back down here as they enter turn 1, but right now continues to ride off the front bumper of Ken McCall Jr.
Keeping it clean. Zach Range in the back here in that number 43. He's in the Chevy. He's up 8 spots. He's sitting 7th at the moment. Can he keep up pace?
Yeah, and the pace already starting to pick up here. Zach Range in the 043 truck. We know how much he likes to push. Watch for him to maybe be one of the first guys to try to get 3 wide working. Nothing doing yet. They stay 2x2, but what we talked about is the separation of packs that we're seeing. This lead group right here goes all the way back to right around, well, John Mohan, Dustin Carruthers. They're going to actually tag on. But behind them, Justin Mills, Jeff Merkin, probably what's about another 10 to 15 trucks. They have all fallen off, and if they're not careful, they're going to lose more than just touch. Yeah, they're 2.5 seconds back. Jacob, we know that lead draft, it only extends back about 1.5 seconds any further. You lose that draft, and if you don't catch them, you could be in danger of potentially putting yourself in a bad spot early on in this race and have to rely on a caution at some point.
Yeah, 8 laps down, and this is already a situation they're in. That could be big trouble for them trying to catch the front pack. Now, with that being said, what about strategy with fuel and everything else? Do you think that strategy for that backpack's going to change now that they're so far behind? This is interesting this early in the stage at Talladega.
It is, but again, you're seeing, we keep saying the aggression's picking up, and it kind of was, but now it's starting to simmer down. 2x2, everybody's starting to figure the trucks out, get a feel. We're not seeing too much bobbing and weaving, no fishtailing from any of your top 6 as of right now on either of the lanes. So I think maybe everybody's starting to settle down. Some of the guys in the middle and back of this pack have the option to save more fuel than your front runners. Do just that right now. Let Alex Hill continue to lead up here as he has done since we went back green. Back to the top side goes the 77. Ken McCall Jr. doesn't really have any teammates right now, kind of stuck in the middle of the Maines boys. You got Jason Maines on the inside of him, and just behind him, Garrett Maines of the 0-1. Further back, Brambilla looked like was thinking about a move to the inside, quickly went back to the outside. But everybody's still staying nice and docile as they work their way into turn 3, climb the banking again. Ken McCall Jr. with another big push, but now we're seeing a surge from Navarro and Jason Maines maybe trying to make a run on the inside.
Can they make the inside work? A lot of times that outside lane might work a little bit better. A little bit of wiggle with Alex Hill up front at 77. He kept it clean. We are still green. 9 laps down. We got an early, long race here at Talladega 10 when they cross.
That was a close call. Push and start to pick up at the front. And actually looks like maybe we're going to see our first look at 3 wide. Ooh, a little disorganization back here. That's Joshua McCall in the 05 trying to get situated. Cole Fitzpatrick just to the outside him. And falling a couple spots is going to be Samuel Carter in the 85 now. Not sure if this is his first money race for MMS, but first race I've seen him in and doing a good job here early. He's up a couple spots from where he started in that 18 spot. How about Mark Vondell up here as well? Danny Barnes, Dustin Carruthers along with the 28 all rounding out this pack. That's Jessica Childs. She's having a good race up to this point, now down 5 from where she started. But anybody with this lead pack is going to be in good position for that first pit stop. And as of right now, I think we're still expecting them, I would say, to probably make it somewhere close to maybe lap 25, lap 30 before we see that first pit stop. So still 2x2 up front. But Ken McCall Jr. back able to get some fresh air. He's going to be able to cool off the temps. And that bottom's still rolling. But now Jason Maines has backed off a little bit, and it's Navarro, the solo helper for the 77.
Yeah, you're talking about the front pack there, but you go a little bit farther back. Nash in that Toyota in that 39. He's up 19 spots. He's sitting 12th. He's right in front of Brandon now in that number 22. He's up 13 spots. So a lot of movement early in this race. 11 laps down. They're keeping it clean up front with Alex Hill now up front in the lead in the 77.
First lapper that they're going by all night. It's the 76 of Ron Morris Jr. with a little trouble. Not sure if it's a result of that first caution or something else, but this will put him at least 1. I believe he's only going to go a lap down, and meanwhile, that's caused a huge surge of momentum on the outside. Garrett Maines with a huge shove, and now he's going to make the move. Ken McCall Jr. quickly down to cover it. So the 1 in the 03 jumped to the bottom, and all of a sudden, just like that, Alex Hill falls back to 3rd, and on the outside, Zach Rage now leading. He's getting a push from Aubrey Thompson, who, don't forget, won the American 500. He's got plenty of experience, knows how to run with the big dogs. And Aubrey Thompson right now looking pretty, sitting second on that outside line.
Yeah, not sure what's up with Ron Morris Jr. Maybe he didn't feel comfortable up front there, want to sit back. He saw something, hey, I just want to hang back here and stay alive, so that's what he's doing. But you're right, up front, a lot of movement. Range now up front. He's up 14 spots in that 43. He's the Chevy leading. Boy,
all of a sudden, this bottom line is really starting to roll. Excuse me, this outside line is really starting to roll. And you take a look at the track temp. Remember when we said it was starting 80? It's only 81, so it has not climbed much. And usually when we see that lower track temp, the inside's able to hold pretty strong. Not the case so far here tonight. Outside continues to roll, and now we might be seeing an even higher lane start to roll as Joshua McCall is going to start to get the outside going. He's got some help from Brendan Broadfoot. Only 2 trucks right now. Going to need at least 3 to make something happen. Who is going to be the next man to jump out of line?
Yeah, talk about 3. We're 3 wide in the back. We've got 2 rows there, 3 wide. Can they keep it together? Can they make that outside lane work? We shall see. Now, the inside was working. They drop up. Lap car coming up. This could be a little sketchy here. Watch out.
Yeah, going to have to go 4 wide for just a second. It looks like everybody's going to be able to do it with no problem. I believe that might have been, was that Harrison Whitehead going a lap down? We'll take a look and figure that out in just a moment. And we've had quite a few go a lap down here early. Again, a lot of struggles. Everybody just trying to do anything they can to stay up in this lead pack. But taking a look at some of the guys, not the start they wanted right now. Dallas Knox 7 laps down. You got to think he had a major issue. Ambrose Kniebel a lap down. Chris Parkman, Brett Myers, Ron Morris Jr. all falling a lap down. There's Trevor Osronoff in the 89. You go further up, Jimmy Emos. We got a lot of guys in the second pack still, and they've not really been able to make up any ground up to this point. They'll continue to work, but now 14 laps in and probably about 10 to 15 laps away. I'm gonna say 10 laps away or so from potentially when we start to get set up for that first green flag pit stop. Nobody really content to go single file to the bottom yet. They stay 2x2, but it's gonna be 15 laps as we cross the line this time. And now John Ward and Aspirin Bill find themselves in the front. Zach Range back to the high side. He's got a push from John Mullahan. Just behind them, the 85 of Samuel Carter. We saw him shuffle to the back of this pack just as quickly. Gets back to the front, but it's Joshua McCall still looking 3 wide on the outside.
Yeah, Austin, with this front pack working together, where do you want to be? Do you want to be up front, or do you want to hang out back with this front side? Because 15 laps in, we've got a long ways to go, all the way to the 100 mark. Where do you think you want to be at?
Man, I'll tell you what, for those green flag pit stops, I think at this point, if you're anywhere in this front pack, you're okay. But I mean, as a driver, you got to know your limits. If you know you're good on green flag stops, you can get in a little bit more aggressive than everybody else, then it's okay if you're in the back of the pack. You don't have to worry about getting hit from behind, and you can dive it in a little bit deeper if you need to. Here goes Alex Hill, 3 wide. We'll hold that thought for just a moment. The 77 looking to make a surge to the front off the front bumper of Joshua McCall. And now that you got 3 out here, that train is really going to start to move. The cavalry has arrived. The 22 of Brandon Broadfoot has stayed committed, but you got to wonder how much temp does Joshua McCall have in the 05? How long can he hold the 77 of Alex Hill at the front? And is it enough push to get the 77 clear? If he does, you got to think he drops down. There's the surge. The 77 gets clear, and he will drop down to the middle and now to the bottom range. Almost some contact. Mullahan has to check up. Somehow they all keep it together. Man, that was a close call as Alex Hill's going to have to settle for the middle.
Yeah, Alex Hill's in the middle, kind of stuck there. Zach Range now up front on the inside, gets a good push, but he goes up in front of the 77, and he's still in the lead.
Yeah, these guys, don't tell them that we have pit stops coming anytime soon. They certainly don't believe so, and I think that's kind of made some people want to drop out of this. Garrett Maines, Andrew Navarro, they have fallen a little bit further back, and it's 3 wide now for about the first, well, maybe about 2 rows deep. 2 by 2 up front, and then it's 3 wide, 2 rows deep. The 38 of Aubrey Thompson, then Dustin Carruthers on back. Look at this. Starts to single file out. There's Ron Morris Jr., but we talked about he's a lap down. He's trying to get it back the hard way, and you know what part of this could potentially be here, Jacob? That second pack, they've gotten single filed out. I'm not sure if they're making the progress they need to, but if we go back, they're on the same straightaway and actually taking a look at that gap from the leader of that second pack, Justin Mills. Right now they sit about 8.95 seconds back. But they've caught a little bit here, a couple tenths in just the last lap or two. Maybe that front pack solid decided to get more organized to try to keep this a race amongst themselves.
Yeah, they've got a lot of work ahead of them to make it happen. They've got to do it now. 17 laps in, 18 now as they cross in the books. We got to go all the way to 100 again. This is a long, long race, Austin. A lot of fun out here. Big-time names up front. John, now in that number 2, the Chevy. He's up front. He's up 8 spots.
A lot of big names, but I'll tell you what it is. It's a lot of names that no surprise to see at the front, and you're going to see him at the front most of the night. Alex Hill, doesn't matter if there's fuel strategy involved or not. He loves trying to lead as many laps as he can. It's exactly what he's doing right now as he works on the outside of Zach Range. He's got Samuel Carter behind him along with Cole Fitzpatrick. Even further back, looks like Andrew Navarro and a couple others going to jump to the top. Looks like that actually is Ken McCall Jr. We saw him at the front probably about a couple handful of laps or so ago. Fell to the back. Now he's ready to make the charge back up. Jason Maines on the outside as well. Looks like maybe Matt Lee ready to show his hand. He'll try to make a charge to the front now. Garrett Maines continues to roll on the inside. But this is what you'll see too here, Jacob. The cat and mouse game of guys that as the pit stop gets closer, you got to single file out to the bottom. But how far back in that single file train do you want to be? There you go. Ken McCall Jr., he was able to pick up about 5-7 spots, and he was content with that. He'll drop back down to the bottom, and now he might settle in that spot until we get to that first pit stop.
Yeah, Garrett Maines and Jason Maines, they're in that top 5, top 10 position. Now they drop back just a few. Garrett Maines is in 15th. He's down 10 spots. He's in that 4, that 29. He'll make his way up to the front. Jason Maines, just talked about him. He is up in the top 10 now, but he's 6 spots down from where he started.
And as we cross line, this time it'll be the first fifth of the race completed as John Ward in the 92 is going to jump up top. That's one of the Hyper Motorsports drivers, actually Hyper Motorsport team captain. And again, right now, not really any teammates to be found. He's got one leading that second pack as they're going to be coming up on a couple lappers here. Looks like it's going to be the 99 machine. Dallas Knox, who's already 7 laps down, just not going his way right now. He's got some damage, it looks like, on the left front. Not sure if he hasn't got it all repaired. And then Ambrose Kniebel in the 04, who we saw pile into that last wreck late. Dallas going to jump down, try to hop into the pack, but up front, Sean Hill found himself a way to get clear. He has dropped to the bottom. John Ward still up top. Cole Fitzpatrick third on the outside. Mullahan third on the inside. Those two trucks just as important as the lead pusher. The closer you stay as the third truck in line, the easier it is for that second truck to push on command. And right now you see, even though Cole Fitzpatrick maybe not on the bumper of the 85, they've got a ton of momentum, and John Ward now will get clear. He's going to lead his first lap of the night at Talladega.
Yeah, watch out for John Ward now. 21 laps in the books. He's fighting up there with Samuel in the 85, that Ford. We got Cole in the 18, Alex Hill, Andrew in the 42. Big-time names in the top 5 as they are side by side. A little bit of single file in the back after them.
And we just took a quick look. Brett Myers currently on the pits. That was a guy that we saw going earlier that I believe had a similar paint scheme to Harrison Whitehead. That's who I thought it was initially. But it is the 16, so he's going to lose, I believe, another lap here. Yeah, you see he's currently being scored 2 laps down. Hopefully this doesn't put him 3. And so up front, you got John Ward leading, Alex Hill second, Samuel Carter in third, Zach Range fourth with John Mullihan in fifth, Cole Fitzpatrick sixth, Andrew Navarro seventh. Nashbra and Billa, we've been talking about him. He is still your biggest mover. Well, I'm going to take that back. He's your second biggest mover. Guess who's the biggest one? John Ward in first, up 28 positions from where he started. Maybe not for long, though. Here comes Samuel Carter on the outside. Him and Cole Fitzpatrick trying to work a little bit of a tandem as now Andrew Navarro. He'll slip into the third spot on the bottom. Zach Range cuts him a break. And more of them dropping down to the bottom, Jacob. Those green flag pit stops continue to get closer and closer. Can we make it?
Yeah, it's so wild early in this race. I feel like the inside lane is working better. They need more help up top. As you can see, a long train of trucks in the back there making the inside lane work for John Ward in that 92. He's going to lead another lap here, 23 when they cross.
And so everybody's taking, oh, man, we had one truck jump to the apron. I believe that is one of the lappers there. That's the 99 machine, not Dallas Knox. One of the other 99 trucks with trouble here. Trying to find exactly who it was. And so we'll get back to that in just a moment. Up front, though, still no sign of the pit stops just yet. Nobody even making a fake down. And we still got 5 trucks on this outside line, so you can't say that it's coming in probably the next lap or so, but wonder if we see any sort of strategy play here. I don't think it's going to come down to like an exact fuel number. I know I'm not really describing that the best way I could, but it'll make sense when we get towards the end of the race in terms of I don't think there's any special strategy where you have to run each pit stop out all the way. For one of these stops, you're going to have the option to probably cut it a little short, assuming that we go green that long. But again, once they hit lap 25, I think that's when you maybe see the first couple of guys think about it. Nope, a little sooner. Here we go. First round of pit stops. It is going to be John Ward leading. Oh, too spun. The 85, Samuel Carter, Jason Maines as well. Maines through the grass. Carter saves it. That'll be a speeding ticket, though. Further back, Dustin Carruthers was able to get into his box clean. Thought he was going to have some trouble. Man, that was a close call. Heck of a save by both, but that'll be a penalty to both Jason Maines and Samuel Carter as they both just make a mistake coming on. We'll have to take a look at that in a minute.
Man, I just cannot believe what I'm seeing here tonight. 24 laps in the book, and it's just wild. We've got everything going on. Guys going in the pits, trying to get on the brakes, some contact. We got drivers going through the grass. Unbelievable here at Talladega, Austin.
Yeah, and as they all work their way out of the pits, everybody going to try to decide who gets what spot. You see their double file. They'll have to get single file before they get to the apron here, which a couple guys getting in a little bit of a battle for it. There you go. They're finally going to all get single filed out. Let's go back up front. There's your second round of pit stops. Garrett Maines will lead in. Nashbra and Billa, Matt Lee, Andrew Navarro, Cole Fitzpatrick. Ron Morris Jr. going to go in with this group as well. And Brandon Broadfoot, the last of them to pit. They all getting clean without any issues. So that makes me think maybe we see this pack come out in front. But this is one of my favorite cameras to look at. I always bring it up. But we're going to go to the pit lane cam right here and watch. You see on the track map, the leaders working their way into turn 3 right now, actually through turn 3 and 4. As there goes Maines and Carter, who had the 2 penalties. So right now they're just hoping they don't go a lap down, and they're hoping for a caution. But here we go. The leaders now entering the trial. As here comes Garrett Maines and company. And ooh, man, I don't think they got out as quick as they wanted here. This is going to be interesting. Remember, they still got to get up to speed, and they can't actually get on the track till they exit turn number 2. So as Garrett Maines and Andrew Navarro lead them off and go into turn 1, watch for Alex Hill in the 77 to go flying by with a ton of speed. I think Maines, Navarro, and Lee are going to be able to hang on, but I don't know if anybody else will.
Yeah, Garrett came in clean. He had 6 drivers with him, but it looks like he's going to be the only one that can come out and catch that front pack. They looked really well, but now, man, I think you're right. Garrett is only going to be the one if he can catch that front group.
Well, let's take a ride on board here, talk about the speeds these guys are running here tonight. How about Alex Hill? This is where you're going to see a lot of speed, though. We'll go even further back. Watch this. Garrett Maines. So you see right now he's right on the tail end of this draft. In fact, the gap is just under a second, so he is pulling a ton of draft. Look at the speed, 193, and he'll get up to 194, maybe 195 here down the short chute. And so again, once you get within a second and a half of that draft, there's just no escaping it. They're going to get there, and you see, watch the run he's got here. He's probably going to take this to the outside. It's the move to make. Question is, does he get help from Navarro and Lee? There he goes to the outside. Navarro and Lee, sure enough, going to follow back to 2x2 up front.
Yeah, Garrett in that 29 leading the pack on the outside, making it work. He's only got 3 trucks. Now he's got help. 2 more trucks jump up top. They're going to make it work. Man, they're dodging there. Close driving, Austin, craziness.
Oh my goodness, that was a close moment right there for Range, Garrett, and Navarro as they all had to check up. Yeah, John Ward went up to the top initially with Range. Not sure if he was hoping he'd be the first man out, but quickly jumped back down to the bottom. Now the next thing we're going to have to keep our eye on right here, Jacob, is this second group, and we'll go to the blimp cam here to make this a little bit more interesting, but we got a couple bridge trucks, and the reason that's important here is that's going to help that second pack out a lot to catch up. So here you go, leading this second group, just in front of David Sheets here. Actually, is it going to be... No, it is going to be David Sheets. Looks like they had a lapper in this battle. Sheets will fall out of it. So now Nash Brambilla is going to turn into the lead pusher, and he is pushing the 49 of Josh Gambrone, who is, sorry, not a lapper. He is actually currently being scored in 11th. But look at the bridge car. I believe that is that Samuel Carter? Yeah, it is, who had the trouble on the pit stop. And so they'll be able to pull time right here, but the gap to keep your eye on is the gap to this front pack here, which we'll go take a look. Jason Maines is actually at the back of it, but in front of him, the last car in this pack is indeed Joshua McCall. The gap from him to Josh Gambrone, as it stands right now, is about 3.7 seconds, and it is starting to close up just a little bit. If they get within a second and a half, that is when they'll catch that lead pack. We'll see if they can do it, as we have now completed 28 of 100 laps here at Talladega.
Yeah, and I think with that early caution, that's out the window now. We're going to stay green. With all these trucks split up, we got a pack up front, a pack in the back there in the mid. I think it's going to stay green the rest of the race. I could be wrong, but if it does, man, that front pack at the moment with Garrett Maines in the 29, looking pretty good with Alex Hill pushing.
Well, tell you what, Jacob, we got to get you in here for some more money races. These things never go green the whole way. There's just always a caution somewhere late. But I think the biggest thing that's probably catching a lot of these guys off guard is how many trucks we dropped off through that first green flag cycle. I mean, remember, we started this race with 38 trucks. You take a look at that lead pack, Jacob, and right now we've only got, you go back to Joshua McCall, it's not that many. In fact, it looks like it's about 13. No, I make it 12. 12 trucks in this lead pack at the moment. And actually, it's going to be 10 because Jason Maines, one of the lappers. So as it stands right now, you got about a 50% chance of getting in the money if you are anywhere in that lead pack. So I think those guys maybe going to simmer down here and just, again, continue to try to tick off laps. However, they got to be real careful because this second pack right now, Nash Brambilla, he continues to do a good job. They've now got him leading. That gap, it continues to close up. It's slow. But again, as it continues to close down, if they can run into any more lappers that help bridge that gap, that's going to help them out. Right now, though, they're going to need a little bit more help. Danny Barnes, Nash Brambilla, the only two connected. Dustin Carruthers trying to get there, and that separation. Oh, Reckon up front. Reckon big. Caution is out. Oh, no.
Wow.
So we go back to it here if we can find it. It wasn't as many as it initially looked like, but it was with the lead group, as Aubrey Thompson appears to be involved with a couple others. And I'll tell you what, Jacob, it certainly wasn't the lead pack that I thought would be the ones to wreck.
Yeah, no, I didn't think so either. I mean, now it's a huge break for that second pack trying to catch him. Caution's out. We're going to re-rack him and go back green, man. What a break for that second pack of drivers.
Absolutely. Here we go. Let's take a look first. We'll go to the chopper cam. Looked like might have started with Matt Lee and maybe Andrew Navarro here. Play at full speed first. Watch the 42 third on the outside and the 04 third on the inside. Ooh, oh, it's a checkup. Yeah, that's sure enough what it is. So we'll play that in slow motion here for you again. So watch what happens here. Zach Range, he's going to get a run on Garrett Maines just as they're coming out of the corner. And, ooh, I think he realizes that maybe he's going to get him a little offset because you saw fire out of the pipes on the first look. So he checks up. Navarro has to check up. Ward not quite able to check up in time. He gets into the not quite right rear, but on the right side of Navarro. That turns him down. Almost saves it, but unfortunately runs out of room as Matt Lee's down there, gets into Lee, and those two go for a ride. John Ward is going to have nowhere to go. You see Aubrey Thompson try to shoot the gap, going through the pits, not able to do it. Joshua McCall does get checked up. It looks like he was able to miss it. So all in all, looks like it's only going to be 4 trucks actually sustaining any sort of damage right here. But again, just one of those incidents where not really anybody at fault. You kind of call it a racing incident. But again, a big surprise. It's going to cause a couple of these trucks damage. I don't know if any of them were quite fast repair worthy, but definitely going to have to take the optional fix, and that'll cost you some track position. And man, just as it looked like we were about to have a lot of strategy, boy, Ward just no brakes. I think he got tagged about 3 different times. You see Jason Maines arriving on scene. He was able to miss it without any further incident. But yeah, to me, Jacob, just a little bit of a stack-up effect. We see those at a track like this, and nothing that any of them could do. But yeah, John Ward got the worst of it. I think that actually is going to be a fast pair for that 92.
Yeah, Talladega typically comes out with a lot of action, but I'm kind of lost for words, man. I don't know what's going to happen next. I looked at the tower early in this race. I see so many trucks out, and now we have a caution 31 laps in the race when we had 2 packs. So I don't know what's going to happen, Austin. This is wild here at Talladega.
Yeah, it certainly is. As we take a couple more looks here from the onboard of John Ward, and I think the best thing to do some justice here is let's go watch an onboard view here with John Ward. We talk about these checkups. And I always say that when we look at these camera views from the outside, it doesn't do it justice. As a driver, it's so hard to check up sometimes because it just happens so quick. And watch this from the onboard of John Ward. He's cruising. He's not expecting a checkup. He's only the 3rd truck in line at this point, 4th rather, and all of a sudden sees it, boom, tries to bail out just too little too late. Man, he almost misses it. Does a good job, but just can't quite escape this one. And with that, brings out your 2nd caution of the night. 31 laps complete up front. Alex Hill being scored as your leader. A couple trucks looking to get the wave round here, including Samuel Carter, Ron Morris Jr. Looks like the 16 of Brett Myers, along with the 88 as well. Jimmy Emmo's further back here, but trying to figure out exactly who that was. Again, these guys don't run the same numbers. They run custom numbers, but that is Jonathan Herbert, one of the guys that, again, might be a little bit newer to the money racing scene, but is going to have a chance here by getting back on the lead lap. Appreciate everybody that's tuning in at this point. Give some of these people a shout out. We haven't even acknowledged them here tonight. Mike Ward, good to see you. Tipsy, hope you're having a good night. John says spending some Christmas time with family tonight. Can't make the field. Good luck, PGR and Wolfpack. And that is John Darnell. Well, speaking of it, I hope everybody did have a Merry Christmas and hoping everybody's going to have a Happy New Year, as this will be our last event of 2023. Hey, it's Dina, says Marvilla, about to smoke all of you. And boy, he's looking strong so far. 7 C's. Let's go, Navarro. Good to see you in here. David McGuire says, does the 2nd race start at 11:30? It's a good question. I know I had it in the thumbnail, but I forgot myself. Taking a quick look, though, at it. 2nd race, I believe, goes green at 12 a.m. And it looks like, yep. Server opens at 11, goes green at 12. That'll be in the Xfinity cars. No broadcast, but you better believe those payouts are still going to be pretty sweet. Get yourself in there if you're around and looking for something to do. So as we get the 1 to go signal, Jacob, let's talk about strategy for just a moment. 32 laps complete. Looking at the fuel, again, right around 20 to 25 laps, give or take, right in that window. So looking at this, these guys probably going to make it to about lap 50, maybe 55 at the most. And if you do so, still expecting probably at least another three stops, if I had to guess, 2 to 3 stops. But if we get a caution, that'll change everything. Right now, though, who's your favorite?
You know, Alex Hill and Garrett Maines up there in 1 and 2. That's hard to beat. But you got guys like the Joshua in the 05, that Chevy. He's up 27 spots. He's in 5th. And then you go farther back, you got Nash in the 39, that Toyota. He's up 22 spots in 9th. So a lot of big names, a lot of different drivers out here. I don't know who's going to win with so much chaos and cautions and a lot going on. It's hard to say, Austin. Who do you think you got?
Well, I'll tell you what I got in a minute, but first, I want to stop on NASCAR Miller for just a second. This guy doesn't get enough credit for what he does either. On Team PGR, and I mean, the reality is you look at some of these money teams, and if you had to rank them 5-star, 4-star, 3-star, whatever you want to do, we know that we got the big dogs, 5-star Brim. Billa doesn't really have, I don't know if he's got any teammates out here tonight, but he's one of the best you'll find when it comes to money racing, especially super speedways. He's got a lot of respect, one of the cleanest drivers you'll find, and the perks of that is even if you don't have a team, you'll be out here, you'll be able to find some guys that want to work with you at the end of the race. I think that's exactly what Nash Brambilla is going to get by the end of this race with the cleanness that he's got, the speed that he's got, and I would not be surprised to see him cash out before the night's all over.
Yeah, it'd be great to see, and I'll tell you, if you don't have teammates out in a field like this, you better believe you're a clean driver and you're a good driver, because guess what? You're not going to get the help you need. But pace cars off. Alex Hill up front at 77. He's going to take us to the green flag. Garrett Maines in that 29. He's 2nd. Green flag about to drop here at Talladega. And we are green again.
Alex Hill, he's been in front just about the entire night. Garrett Maines now ready to flex some muscle as well. Right off the get-go, though, the inside's going to get rolling just a little bit better. Maines going to have to fall to the front bumper of Ken McCall Jr. Zach Range not up there yet. And, boy, if this outside can't get rolling, it might open the door for John Mohan off of turn 2. Not going to be able to do it. Garrett Maines able to get enough of a side draft to pull even. And now the outside really going to roll. Is it enough to get Garrett cleared? Nothing doing. No 3 wide yet, but we got a couple guys jumping up to the high side further back, and this time notice what we didn't see on that last restart, Jacob, and that is this pack looking a lot bigger. Not too much separation just yet.
Yeah, you don't want to lose the pack in the back. You got to stay with this main pack or you're going to be lost. Now my question is, we're side by side, we're only 33 laps in, 34 when they cross. Do you think we'll see some 3 wide action right now?
Well, it's hard to say. I mean, we have seen such a mix this race. I'll tell you what, I didn't think we were going to see double file action after that first green flag stop, but they continue to get racy. And unfortunately, one of those things where you play those kind of games, sometimes you win those kind of prizes. But up front right now, still 2x2. Alex Hill on the bottom, Garrett Maines on the top, Ken McCall Jr. the lead pusher on the outside. He's got his teammate John Mullihan. And so far, those two have been carrying the torch tonight for McCall Motorsports, looking for David Sheets, Mark Von Dell, Ron Morris Jr., a couple of these other guys to get up here. Luck just hasn't been there yet. Christopher McCall, he's up 21 positions before he started. I believe he did not qualify. In the 24, I'm telling you, when he gets close to the front, he's always a dangerous man. You got to be careful, and he's already halfway to that mission. We'll see if he can get there by the end of this race.
Yeah, Joshua in that Chevy, that 05, he's up now 27 spots right in the mix. Now you see this front pack, they're 2x2. You got 6 trucks. They are so close together, working with each other, doing that draft. That back row, that backpack, they need to figure it out. They need to get a little bit closer to get that draft working for them. 35 laps down now.
Yeah, and this time the lead pack is more like 30 trucks instead of what we saw the first time. Looks like Andrew Navarro rounding it out, but there you go, Ron Morris Jr., who actually did get back on the lead lap, leading the second pack, which again, right now they're still within range of the leaders. Got to be careful, and then a couple that have already fallen off. Looks like it's Dallas Knox and Ambrose Kniebel. Those two multiple laps down, not the night they want so far. But now going to be 36 laps complete when we cross the line this time. Nobody dares to look 3 wide just yet. You know it's coming sooner or later, Jacob. Alex Hill, though, going to jump back up to the top. That'll give John Mullihan a chance to cool down the 2 machine for just a little bit. Garrett Maines, though, pushing the 77, trying to get it back clear before turn 1. Can't do it. Further back to 10 of Dustin Carruthers. He'll jump to the bottom. And now Jeff Merckx starting to peek back into the picture.
Jeff Merckx, haven't talked about him a whole lot in that 60, that Chevy. He's down 5 spots when he started, but now he's in 12. Can he make a move here at Talladega?
And I see somebody starting to go through wide. I believe it's Brandon Broadfoot in the 22. Yeah, sure enough, it looks like it is. Nothing doing. How about Kenneth Stamper? Haven't had a chance to talk about him so far tonight. I think he's just biding his time at this point. Again, we are not even halfway through this race. In fact, we're still going to be 14 laps from it when we cross the line this time. So no point in getting too aggressive early. We've already seen a couple of wrecks, including the big one that we saw strike in turn 1 of the first lap. So everybody that's already used that fast pair, again, continues to just sit in the back. By the time, wait till we probably get within the last 25 laps of this race. That's where I think you see the action start to pick up. That's where the moves start to get made. But right now, we're about to see a move potentially be made on the top side. Ken McCall Jr., he has got locked up, tandeming right now with the one of Garrett Maines. Now the bottom will get linked up. John Mullihan and Alex Hill still out in front. Alex Hill, I said he's already led the most laps here tonight, but I just can knock it over. How impressive is it with no teammates for a driver to still be able to put on so much control? Meanwhile, up top, here goes Jeff Merck and Nash Brambilla. First 2 are going to try to play spoiler here tonight. Thought they were going to get a little bit more help right there from Trevor Osbornoff. Nothing doing. He'll tuck back down to the middle. 2 trucks on the outside. Going to need a little bit more help if they want that 3rd lane to roll.
Yeah, can he make it work? And talk about Alex Hill in the 77. He's ran that inside lane. He ran a little bit of the middle, but now he feels comfortable on the bottom. Can he make it work? He's right. He's got Garrett Maines right next to him and John in number 2.
Well, hold your breath here, Jacob. All of a sudden, things have picked up in a hurry. Ken McCall Jr. jumped to the outside. We saw Christopher McCall Jr. pull up to the back bumper and multiple other trucks. These guys are now 3x3 throughout just about the entirety of the field. You got a couple new ones pulling up in the back. Justin Mills, Brandon Broadfoot, all trying to see if they can get this 3rd lane rolling. And on the bottom, Alex Hill, he's clear, but he doesn't want to jump down because he might get cleared by Ken McCall Jr. if he does so. Ooh, that was a big push from Garrett Maines. Oh, out of shape. Trying to save it. Can he do it? He holds on, but Garrett Maines throw the back contact range around into the pack. This could get ugly as he spins up top. Stamper goes around. Everybody else looks like misses it, but it does draw the caution. 39 laps in, third caution of the night. And boy, that could have been a whole lot worse. We had a couple of wicked saves right there from Alex Hill and Garrett Maines, but it looks like Stamper's right side is banged up just a little bit. Couldn't tell all of the others that were involved, but man, the list is looking pretty long here, so I'm wondering if maybe we had a couple more than what it initially looked like. Let's go back and take a look. Well, Jacob, you asked when they went 3 wide. It certainly didn't take them too long.
Yeah, I thought they'd go 3 wide at that point. They did, and unfortunately, we couldn't get 1 lap through, and we got a caution out. It was getting a little crazy, but man, let's go take a look at the replay and see what happened, Austin.
So here we go. Coming off of turn 4, Alex Hill's the first one to get sideways. This actually starts back and right about the middle of turns 3 or 4. It's going to be Garrett Maines giving him a push, and I talked about that outside. That's the lane you're trying to defend. And I think what happens here is Garrett just gets a little bit offset. Yeah, he does. Take a look at the one. You see how he's a little – watch this. He's going to get a little bit offset to the left right there. Now when he pushes Alex, see how that sends the 77 down the hill here a little bit. Now he saves it initially. Garrett's still hot on his bumper, though. And so he's going to get another push that gets him sideways again. Saves it one more time, but now he's starting to get a little behind on the steering. Then Garrett gets out of whack. He tries to save it, can't do it. Zach Range goes around. They finally save it up front. And that's where the chaos all ensues out back here with Zach Range's company. A lot of these guys had to come to just about a stop or go through the grass. But again, not really a lot, if any, hard hits. Take a look here from TV Follow. This will give you a pretty good look at it. So as they come off the turn, watch Garrett gets down here, and he gets into the right front of David Sheets. Both of those trucks able to keep it straight. And then further back, Zach Range gets turned around right there by Trevor Osronoff. Again, everybody just trying to miss the wreck. And then Osronoff, he's going to actually get turned around in this as well. He'll go for a slide. Does he hit the inside wall here? He's got all 4 tires locked down. Oh, he does. It's a decent hit for the 89. That could potentially be a fast spare, but then that's for Zach Range. I think he was able to just lock it down. And I don't think he made any contact with anybody, so he should be okay. And as for everybody else, again, was able to miss it with just either having to go through the grass, take a couple X's. No harm, no foul. Let's take a couple different angles of this one here. I'll tell you what, Jacob. Ooh, actually, I didn't see that initial hit, but there was Kenneth Stamper. We saw him get some damage on the right side, but he's going to have some on the front as well. And that would be right. That'd be why right there, as you saw, nowhere to go. He's going to tag the outside wall after tagging Zach Range and then piling into that wreck as well. Looks like I believe that might have been the 86. And the 98, man, nicely done right there. Able to check up at just the last second. That was a really close call. Go back and take one more look at this one here from the cockpit view just before we go back live. Actually see if we can go right on board with Kenneth Stampers. He's going to see this whole thing kind of start up in front of him. And sometimes as a driver, you can only check up so much. You commit to a lane. All of a sudden, that hole gets filled up, and there's just nowhere to go. So watch this. Sees it. He's going to jump to the outside, tries to hold it straight, and unfortunately just makes the wrong decision and gets T-boned by the 86, who had nowhere to go. And so as we go back... Yeah, go ahead, Jacob. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, just unfortunate to see that wreck right now. 40 laps in. We're not even halfway just yet. It seems like we've had a full race within the half of this race at Talladega. But right now, the 03 is up front, and Nash and the 39, that Toyota, he's in second. Alex Hill, he's in third. But as you look at that replay, Austin.
Yeah, and we still got a full one to go. We saw everything we needed to see there from the last couple of views, but how about up front? A little bit of a change-up now. Ken McCall Jr. being scored as your leader. Nash Brambilla in second, and it looks like it is Alex Hill back in third. John Mullihan fourth. Joshua McCall fifth with Jeff Merck in sixth. Christopher McCall seventh, now up 32 positions from where he started. Justin Mills back in eighth. Dylan Jones ninth, and Jessica Childs continues to have a good night. She is being scored as the last truck inside the top 10. Well, I'll tell you what, we are going to take a quick side-by-side break. First one of the night. We will be right back for the restart. 41 laps complete. It's Ken McCall Jr. out in front at Talladega. now we're going to see a little four wide action.
Crazy out of the triangle.
Oh, he gets over into the lead under record.
3x3 entering four.
3
He's
do.
blocked.
At the flag stand, side by side, it's going to be Jason Maines winning at Talladega. Back live at Talladega Superspeedway. It's the MMS 260 here on Ghost Racing Network. Appreciate everybody that's tuning in, getting ready to go back green after wrapping up the third caution of the night. 42 laps complete. 69 to go. Here we go. Green flag, or excuse me, 59 to go. Green flag is back in the air.
Big jump on the inside, the number 3. He's up front. Got a good run with Alex Hill, Josh, and the 05. Can they make it work? Top lane making a run now. What are they going to do?
Yeah, you wondered if the action was settled down a little bit after a couple of cautions that we just had there. Not looking like it is. Alex Hill right back to the point. Didn't take long. Ken McCall Jr., though, on the bottom. The good news now is he has got a couple of McCall Motorsports teammates behind, but it's not enough. NASCAR and Billa was able to push Alex Hill far enough out in front. He got clear. Alex Hill didn't drop to the bottom, so he said, I'll take it. Thank you very much. Just like that, NASCAR and Billa has put Team PGR out in front, and all of a sudden, Jacob, the outside is fading away.
Yeah, 77 of Alex fell back a little bit, but now he's got help with the 03. Kenneth up there in the top. Now they're going to make a run. Can they get up front?
Justin Mills, 5th on that inside line, trying to see what he can do. Ken McCall Jr. gets clear, but same thing that we just saw with NASCAR Billa. Man, this outside carries a ton of momentum when they start to get it. And here we go. Andrew Duvall going to jump 3 wide. Cole Fitzpatrick, he wants to go. He'll gamble. So does Matt Lee. Make that 3 trucks up on the outside, trying to make something work. But Brand Billa on the inside, he will now have the field in his hands, especially if that third lane gets up to the front. Try to control the bottom in the middle. Joshua McCall, one of the best pushers, Little Guy Series champion from last season over in the Dega Pros Discord. And right now he has taken everything that he's learned to try to hold NASCAR and Billa out in front. Sometimes this is where it starts to become a battle of attempts. Which lane can manage attempts better? 2 McCall Motorsports drivers as the lead pushers right now. You got to wonder, will anybody else dare take it 3 wide? Navarro tucked back down in line behind Jeff Merck. And so there's been nothing doing since, but now Alex Hill will get clear and he'll jump to the bottom.
Yeah, Nash in that Toyota, that 39, he's been really good today, up 29 spots. I don't know if he pushed Hill up top because Alex got a little bump. He went up to the top line, but then he came right back down. I think he feels more comfortable up front on the inside lane. But now look at this. We got the truck on the outside. The 03 going to make this run. Can he make it happen? He's got help from behind.
Taking a ride on board here with our driver, Cam, Jeff Merck. Just behind John Mullihan right now, all he can do is kind of ride, stay close as he sees Alex Hill, his former teammate, jump back up to the top. But, man, we talk about chaos right here. I'll tell you what, let's go a little bit further back to the middle of this rat's nest. This is where it really gets tricky. On the inside right here, just behind Matt Lee, is Aubrey Thompson. Nobody to his outside yet. He's got the option if he needs it. But it's so hard to see, Jacob. This is another thing that doesn't get talked about enough. At these plate tracks, as close as you have to run, it's really hard to judge and see the corner, excuse me, and try to ride that yellow line on the bottom. So you really got to hope that that truck in front of you holds a nice, smooth line and try to follow it.
Yeah, no, you're right. And the biggest thing, too, is if you make the wrong move, say, hey, I might get some help on the outside. Guess what? If that doesn't happen, you're going to move a lot of spots back. So you really got to be careful on where you pick and choose what position you want to be. If you got a truck that's helping you out all day long, stay with him because he's going to push you to the front. 45 laps in the books, Austin. We are green at Talladega.
They remain 2 wide 2 here as they're going to be completing 46 laps as we cross the line this time. Talking about some of your biggest hitters and biggest movers, Alex Hill. Again, he's got to be the favorite so far. Just been so dominant up to this point here on the night. But NASCAR and Billa up 28 from where he started. He's been in the lead a couple times here tonight. How about Joshua McCall up 28 positions from where he started? His teammate Christopher McCall currently back in 6th, up 33. Dylan Jones, he is up 21. Dustin Carruthers up 18. You go even further back, and then you have some of the guys maybe not going in the right direction right now. Garrett Maines currently down 28 from where he started, and then Dallas Knox. Good qualifying effort overall, but down 23 from where he started. Again, the good night has just gone so bad so quickly for the 99. Not sure what happened off the start, but he's just not been able to recover since. Multiple laps down, but up front, 2 by 2 as Alex Hill jumps back to the top. That'll give NASCAR Billa a chance to cool down and try to poke a nose out to the lead. But the 77, he'll stay in charge as he goes right back down to the bottom as they enter turn number 1.
Yeah, Alex is doing such a good job of going on the inside, making a run, coming back up top, and then following with his teammates and getting a lot of help. There's been a lot of rotation, a lot of movement up front. They're keeping it clean. I think they're doing the right thing. But if you go back a little bit further, I want to talk about the number 24 in that Chevy. He's the biggest mover today. He's up 32 spots. I think he was up almost 33. Watch out for him. He's looking really strong out of Talladega today.
Still nobody daring to take it 3 wide just yet. Everybody's remained 2x2. Alex Hill continues to control the lanes. Nobody dared to split him just yet. And if you're Alex here, I think you got to be a little careful because you do have 2 McCall Motorsports teammates behind you. And if one of them makes a move, you know the other one's probably going to go. And here you go, Jacob. Further back, guess who? Looks like John Ward and Zach Range going to be the first 2 to start trying to stir the pot here just a little bit. The 92 looking to the outside, but now he'll get up to the back bumper of the 86 machine. And actually, I don't think that's the 86. I'll tell you that is Steve Sizemore. Again, one of the newer drivers on the money racing scene. Trying to get some more experience out here tonight and hoping he can cash in on a money spot. But as we actually take a look here from the far chase view for Steve Sizemore, looks like John Ward and them have quickly tucked in line, not making a move yet. See if they decide to go back out to that 3rd lane. Zach Range, he has decided to, even though John Ward decided to bail out of it. Now he's actually the one getting split by Garrett Maines. Just like that, by the time they exit turn 4, they're all back down to 2x2.
Now, in the back of this pack, Austin, you think some of these trucks might have already burned their fast repair. Do you want to sit back here in the mix and maybe try to go 3 wide, or you got to be really careful on what you do?
Yeah, I think you're at a point where you can still sit back, right? I mean, we're just now going to be coming up on the halfway mark this next lap, and if you ask a lot of these guys, especially a guy like Daniel Everhart, we don't see him in here tonight, but one of the best money races that you'll find at the super speedways. 50 laps is a ton, right? And we know we're probably going to get a couple more cautions. If not, we know we're guaranteed a few more green flag pit stops. So with that in mind, I think if you already use that fast pair, you can still sit back, just save some fuel, bide your time. And if they stay conservative, maybe you slowly start to work your way up. But I'm telling you, if I see any 3 wide, I am bailing. But right now, that outside line is the one bailing. Falling back is going to be Alex Hill, Ken McCall Jr., and Billa going to get clear. Will Billa decide to jump up? He's got the lane. Nothing doing yet. Looks like he's going to decide to stay down to 39. No move. And so he'll keep his Toyota Tundra on the inside line just in front of Joshua McCall and just behind Ken McCall Jr.
Yeah, Alex fell back a little bit, but he's still got help on that top lane, so he can make it work. He'll be up to the front with Nash and Kenneth in the 03. But hey, inside lane, I think all day long has been working better than the outside. I think if you want to be if you want to stay true, you want to stay up front, I want to be on the inside here at Talladega. 50 laps in the books. Austin, great race so far. We're still green. We're going to get some pit stops soon.
Yeah, probably expecting him. If I had to guess, I kind of forgot one who went back green, but I'm going to say probably about next 10, 15 laps. We're going to call it. We'll have to see when they decide to come in. I'm thinking maybe right around the next 10 laps. But Nash Billa out in front. And what you're actually seeing right here, Jacob, is all guys are getting clear on the inside now have decided to jump up, and the outside's been rolling really well, so you got to be careful if you're Nash right here. Does a good job there. I was going to say you don't want to stay outside too long. If you pull Ken McCall Jr. clear, he might try to dump you on the outside in terms of just leave you, try to jump to the inside before you can make a move. But now, guess who's popping into the picture? Mr. Where did he come from? Dylan Jones, 3rd on the inside. You always find him at the front by the end of the race, but he is another one of those drivers that, again, he knows how many laps there was, knows that there was no reason to get to the front early, but I believe he still has a fast pair in his pocket, so he's decided maybe start to work his way to the front now as we are a lap over halfway, going to be 2 when we cross the line. And slowly you'll start to see some of these guys from the back either drop in line and get ready for that green flag stop, or try to make up some positions and then get in line just a lap or 2 before it is time for it.
Yeah, Dylan up 25 spots in that 31, that Ford. You're right, he's being really consistent, really patient, and it's paying off for him. And I just can't believe how much change has been up front. We've had so many different leaders every single lap. It's either Kenneth, Alex Hill, or Nash in the 39. It's just a rotation. John, but though in that Chevy, he's been just sitting back and watching it all unfold. Watch out for him to make a move up front.
Alex Hill quickly back down to the bottom. You know, everybody that watches these, the trucks, they're unique, right? I mean, you know that in the Xfinity cars, guys try to control lanes, but it's a lot harder to do. The trucks, the name of the game is if you are the leader, you cannot sit in one line. If you do so, the guy pushing you, his temperatures are going to start to get really hot. It's not going to make him too happy. He's not going to want to push you, and also he's going to have to back off. That line's going to fade. But as long as you keep controlling them, you can usually continue to get different surges of momentum. Switch lanes, but right here, Alex got to be careful. Ken McCall Jr. is in an awkward spot. Nash tried to let him down, had to get hard on the brakes just for a second. That was a close call, but they're all able to save it, get back down in line. The checkup doesn't translate too far back. Man, again, that was a really, really big moment. A lot of times when you see a checkup that big at the front, it only gets bigger as you go towards the back. Usually that's where we see a spark for the big one, but everybody was able to keep it clean. They keep it 2x2, and Ken McCall Jr. actually going to benefit out of it. He'll get back clear of the lead, as does Nash Brambilla. Does Brambilla jump up here out of 4? Sure enough, he does. Ken McCall Jr., no block to be made. He'll have to stay low, and now Nash Brambilla quickly looking to go back to the lead. A lot of punches being thrown here at the front.
Man, 54 laps in the books when they cross. It's just wild to see up front how much movement's been going on. But talk about movement. If you go back a little bit farther to Ron Morris Jr., he's in that 76. He's up 13 spots. He's in 14th. He was back a little bit farther than this now, but hey, he's up there almost in the top 10. Watch out for him to make a move. Yeah, Jason D. Maines is making a move as well. He's in that one car.
Yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off, Jacob, but I wanted to say a point on that, too. Don't forget, he was a lap down. So the fact that he's already back up here is just incredible to me. But as they stay 2x2, they may not be 3 wide, but the action's picking up. These guys are getting racy up front. We keep talking about the lead changes. We have had over 10 lead changes here in just the last 10 laps up front. Alex Hill and Nash Brambilla just behind them. The 2 McCall Motorsports teammate, Ken McCall Jr., John Mullahan on the outside, Joshua McCall in row 3 with Jeff Merck. Still no 3 wide yet. That green flag stop. It's got to be coming up here soon. Waiting to see people start to migrate down to the bottom. Nothing doing just yet. And further back, a man who we have not talked about tonight either, that we'll give a quick shout out to, is Chris Parkman. Currently being scored a lap down. He's going to need a caution, but don't forget, this guy had got his first win in his first race over in the PGR Thursday Night Heat Series, and we know just how competitive the money racing scene is over there, so we know he's got the talent. He's just going to need some help here tonight. Back up to the front, Ken McCall Jr. still holding the lead on the bottom. Nash Brambilla with another big push from Alex Hill. Now we're seeing some gaps start to get formed. 3 wide towards the back. Brandon Broadfoot, the solo truck on the outside, but still a lot of trucks on the outside. Not a lot migrated to the bottom just yet. That's going to be 56 laps completed when we cross the line this time.
Kenneth up front in that Chevy. He drops down to the bottom. He was kind of sitting in that 4th and 5th position, kind of hanging back, letting those guys go to work up front. But now he's in the mix. He's going to have to go to work and make some moves to stay up front. Nash in that Toyota. He's up 29 spots. Looked really good all day long. He's one of my drivers that I think if he gets a win, that would be a story to tell, and that would be a great day here at Talladega.
All right, here we go. You're starting to see some of the heavy hitters drop down. Navarro, Maines, I saw them poking to the inside line. Christopher McCall, John Mullahan going to be the next 2 to try to find a spot, but each lap now, that inside line is getting longer and longer as everybody shuffles down to it. Mark Von Dell, Brett Myers, both looking to see if they can find a spot in line, and so up front, right now, what you're trying to do if you're anybody in this top 4 is just keep getting them clear. Oh, my goodness. Brambilla got clear, and he jumped down immediately, almost overshot it. But he was able to get lined up with Ken McCall Jr., so he will be in a good spot for this green flag pit stop. Taking a look at the track map, though, there's going to be a little bit of lap traffic coming up soon here, and those guys are really hoping that we can get a caution or those green flag stops for the leaders happen soon. Looks like it is going to be Jonathan Herbert, along with, is that Larry McDonald? Larry McDonald's actually in a different position. And these two, it's been a rough night. Both of them not going to be on the lead lap here once they get past. And on the outside, looks like that is going to be Emos, who's one of the new drivers. Jimmy Emos, that is, in the 99 machine. Back up front. They're going to have to go by these guys. Ooh, man, the 88 looking like he was maybe going to take the middle for just a moment. Quickly goes high. And so everybody will go by 2x2 with no issues. 58 laps complete. I got to think the next handful of laps, they're going to have to make their stops.
Yeah, absolutely. That will change everything, too, when we get some green flag pit stops. 58 laps now in the books at Talladega. We just talked about this driver, Ron Morris Jr. He's now broke the top 10 in that 76. He was a lap down. Now looking at him at the top 10 driver. Also, Jason Maines, now he's in 8th in that one car, or that one truck, excuse me.
I'll tell you what, let me also add the fact, Ken McCall Jr. could jump to the outside there. Still dicing up, but let me add the fact that, we got 2 turned out back. It's going to be, looks like Fitzgerald and Merck. Merck's going to save it. Fitzgerald will slide back up. Did he save it? Couldn't tell if he saved it. I think he does. Yeah, what a save by Cole Fitzpatrick. Wow, what a close call that was. Let's go back and take a look at this before pit stops go underway. He gets turned out of line. Not sure by who or by what. Here you go. Watch the 9. He's on the outside just behind him there. I believe that's the 92. No, that's the 7 of Danny Barnes, rather. And, yeah, Danny doesn't give him too much of an offset shot. Gets him a little bit, but I think maybe Cole thought he was clear on the inside. The gap was close, but not there. Comes right down in front of Jeff Merck. And that sends the 9 to the inside. Man, Annie misses the inside wall. They both save it. That was a heck of a job by both drivers here. Taking an onboard ride with Cole Fitzpatrick. Gets turned. Never quits driving it. It's able to save it. And then does an even better job right here. Not turning straight back up as, wow, somebody's hood went flying. That was a wild look right there. As we go back up front. Trying to see if we had any pit stops. It doesn't look like we have yet. Cole Fitzpatrick brought it down for full service after that close call. I think he wanted to catch his breath, maybe get a drink of water. But there you go, Jacob. Now up front, just about all single file. Maybe the next lap or two, but here's a little bit of strategy play from Garrett Maines and Zach Range. A couple others. They're going to try the strategy of actually going to the front, hoping that they can go an extra lap and that everybody on the inside pits maybe try to make up a little extra time.
Yeah, we got to be a little bit cleaner coming into the pits. The first time they came in on a green flag, we had some issues. We had some trouble. But you're right. Now single file up front. Kenneth Nash, Alex, John, Joshua, all those guys, they're all going to come in together, I'd imagine. But, hey, strategy in the back. Maines, like you talked about it, what is he going to do? Can he stay out and get another pack with him to follow?
Oh, man, I thought they were coming that time. I saw Ken McCall Jr. duck his left sides below the double yellow. I thought for sure they were going. He doesn't. Chooses to stay out another lap. I'm going to say it's either this lap or next lap that they're pitting in. As it stands right now, I believe they're only going to have to make, they'll only have to make one more stop after this under green, as we have now completed 61 laps. And for McCall Motorsports, not a bad spot to be in. Currently, their top 3 drivers, as it stands, you got Ken McCall Jr. in first, John Mullahan back in fourth, and he's got a teammate in Joshua McCall just behind him. They're looking to pick up a couple more. Christopher McCall in 10th, and we'll see if we get any team strategy trying to pit together, but I think just about everybody decided to run this one out. And so by doing this, they'll have the option to play some strategy on that next stop. Do you come in as soon as it happens, or do you run it out again and take, well, you'd have to take a little bit more fuel, I guess. But here we go. Pit stops underway. McCall's all going to jump down, the entire team, and they'll draw in a whole crowd. Ooh, hold your breath here, Jacob. This is going to get sketchy. Some of them flying in. I don't know if they're going to make it. Oh, and camera view switched off, and no. Chaos here for Zach Range and others. He backs it hard into the wall as he pulls back up, but he was already ghosted. Looks like only a couple guys with trouble. Certainly could have been a lot worse. Let's back that up as apologies for the quick camera angle switch just as they were coming in right there. Thought the leaders had a quick moment. We're checking on them, but here you go. Watch as they come in. Does Zach Range get in hot, or does he get tagged right here? And 43 looks clean from there. Starts to get a little hot, but he's okay. No, he gets in a little too hot and then hits Ron Morris Jr. at the same time. Looks like Danny Barnes makes contact with the inside wall, so they get together, gets turned around. And that's all she wrote, so that might be a penalty for Zach Range. Maybe not. Looks like he's able to get out here relatively clean, all things considered. And, boy, this group is a long line right now. A lot of spread. We'll see how this all kind of groups back together once they all get out. And there's the second group. A lot of lockups. Ooh, the 99 goes around. And that is going to be contact for Jimmy Emos. And so I was trying to figure out, I believe that's Brett Myers. It was. They both, again, we stay green as they're able to collect themselves, but that's going to be some damage and hopefully not a penalty as well. And I'll tell you what, that first group was so spread out that, again, Jacob, I think the second group's going to have the advantage when they come off here.
Yeah, we keep seeing some issues into the pits, man. And I'll tell you this, Nash, who was in that first group, he actually stayed out, went one more lap around. He's now just leaving the pits. He's in that 39 Toyota. He's up 29 spots. Interesting strategy there, but now he's working with Garrett Maines in that Ford. What are they going to do?
Not sure, but they were 4 wide off of pit road. I'll tell you that much here as we go back live for just a moment. And I was getting ready to do a Crank It Up segment, but I think we'll hold off on that for now. And here comes the lead pack. Jason Maines leads it. He is going to go right by these 3 cars already picked. Garrett Maines, Nash Purbill, and Matt Lee. They should be able to tag on and extend to the back of this group. And with as much spread as we got right now, I think you're going to see what right now is 3 or 4 packs all grouped back into one here in maybe 10 to 15 laps, certainly before this next pit stop. And this could make strategy very interesting as McCall Motorsports, a couple of their drivers trying to get lined up. Oh, Ken McCall Jr. Tried to slide in a cap, was not quite clear. And, man, they're still trying to figure it out back here.
Yeah, I think they just need to be in single file to catch that front group and keep it all together. You don't want to lose this front pack with Jason Maines in a number 1 Chevy leading the way. 64 laps in the books now.
Alex Hill back in second. Dylan Jones third. John Mullahan in fourth. Andrew Navarro fifth. Joshua McCall sixth, and currently rounding out that first pack. This second pack, they're in the draft. They'll catch. They're just still trying to get their act together. This is the next pack that is going to have their hands full. Right now, looks like it is being led by Brandon Broadfoot and Trevor Oswornoff. Kenneth Stamper, actually, and Trevor Oswornoff. They're 3.4 seconds back. Right now, they are catching ever so slightly. They're going to try to continue to trim that gap down. And again, their best bet is to get there before the next pit stop. Here's the third pack being led right now by, looks like, Josh Giambro, along with the 12 of Cody Atchley. Haven't talked about Cody too much here tonight, but inside the top 25. Solid night up to this point for the driver of the 24. Zach Range back in 27, 28. Steve Sizemore, Danny Barnes in 29th. And again, as all these groups get together, that'll determine what we're going to see for that final green flag stop. Still going to have to wait probably about another 20 laps. Alex Hill going to jump up. They will get all organized as they remain 2 by 2. We are going to take another quick break. We will go side by side so you don't miss a thing. Stick with us at Talladega. Front, now we're going to see a little 4-wide action.
Crazy out of the trial.
Oh, he gets over it into the lead under record.
3 by 3 entering 4.
3 deep. At the flag stand, side by side, it's going to be Jason Maines winning it at Talladega. Back live at Talladega. Before we go back to full screen, though, here, I want everybody to take a look. Now, one of the big events that we got coming up over for RMR Money Racing, Ron Morris Jr., one of the guys running in here tonight. It's going to be the prelude to the 500. Now, I don't know if you guys got to see this event last season, but it was a phenomenal event. This year, it's going to be Friday, February 16th. Payouts. Huge, $750 to win. 500 a second, 400 a third, fourth, 300. I mean, the list goes on and on. They had a ton of sponsors last year. Going to have a ton this year. There will be a broadcast, good race control, 200-lap main event, just like the real 500. Make sure you don't miss out. And actually, the main event's going to be Saturday, February 17th. And then Friday will be qualifying. If you need any more info, feel free to join the Ghost Discord, and we can get you hooked up with that. As we do go back live and full screen up front, It is still Alex Hill as they went by. Looks like Justin Mills going to put him a lap down. I believe that was Justin Mills, and that's going to be Alex Hill is the man leading. Ken McCall Jr. just behind him. Garrett Main still pushing the outside. This group, talk about they dropped off quite a few, but the second group, that was the ones that we were keeping an eye on. Looks like right now, I believe it's Brandon Broadfoot leading him here. We're going to go back a little bit further, make sure we got this accurate. Yeah, and remember when we talked about the gap was about three-ish seconds? Yeah, not the case. It has fallen back to about 7.8 seconds. So good news for that front group. Bad news for the second group is they just cannot make up the time. And tell you what, Jacob, since the newer damage models that came out, man, I remember the old days. You used to be able to get together and catch the group. You just can't seem to do that anymore.
Yeah, it's tough to do it anymore, especially if you got any type of damage. I mean, any situation where you get damage to the front of that truck, your RPMs get low. It is very difficult to find your way up to the front of the pack. But I'll tell you this, it's 70 laps in. We got to go all the way to 100 mark. We're running out of time, but I still think if they be patient, that they'll find their way up front, back with the pack. And Brandon's going to do a good job in that 22 up front, leading the way. He's on the inside, doing a fantastic job. Can they make it happen, Austin? I still think we still got a lot of time left.
Certainly is, and Justin Mills is actually in this lead pack, so that was not the truck that they went by to lap. And the truck that they went by to lap, though, on a very similar paint scheme, it's actually Jimmy Shelton. But speaking of up front, let's break down who we got in this first pack and what we're going to be talking about here as probably the race-winning move, assuming this stays green the rest of the way. So you got Alex Hill leading, Nash Brambilla in second, up 29 from where he started. Garrett Main's third, Jason Main's back in fourth, Ken McCall Jr. in fifth, David Sheets sixth, Christopher McCall in seventh, John Ward eighth, Dylan Jones in ninth, Justin Mills rounding at your top 10, John Mullihan 11th, Andrew Navarro 12th, Samuel Carter 13th, Joshua McCall 14th. Rounding out this pack is Matt Lee in 15th, Aubrey Thompson now the first truck in that second pack. So let's break this down here real quick, Jacob. 15 cars in the lead pack. One more green flag stop, depending on if these guys go sooner or later. That could help some things out. But the overall idea is every time you get a green flag stop, you lose a couple guys from that pack. I think maybe we drop off between 2 and 5 more trucks, maybe get down to about 10 to 12 trucks. And then all of a sudden, again, as we said earlier, you'll only have to finish in probably about the top 50% of that lead pack to cash out the money spot. So I think if you're in this front pack right now, your main goal should be to try to stay conservative, try to get to this next stop, be clean, and all of a sudden, you got that much better of a chance at getting a big payout here tonight.
Yeah, no, you're right. The driver who wins tonight actually is going to, in fact, get $300 in his pocket. So big money for the winner tonight. Second place, he's going to get $200. Third, $175. Fourth, $150, and fifth, $100. That's a lot of money on the line for all of these drivers at the moment. And talk about patience and pit stops and strategy. Garrett Mains has been really calm. I think he got in some trouble early on in this race. He was sitting about 17th, 18th spot. He had really good pit stops with some teammates, and now he finds himself in the top 5 position, looking really strong in that Ford, right up there with Nash and Alex Hill.
And I think it's ironic that we keep talking about patience. The lead pack all night has probably been about the least patient of anybody we've seen. Remember, we saw this earlier. We had a green flag stop. The lead pack got racing. Unfortunately, they had a little bit of a racing incident, brought out the caution and ruined the strategy that could have maybe made this race go green the rest of the way from there. But they got a second life, second chance at it right here. But they remain 2 by 2. No sign of gearing up for that second pit stop yet, which, I mean, of course you can't yet. We're not in the window. I think that window opens right around lap 78, but I think to play it safe, you don't consider going in. So maybe right around lap 80, 82 mark, and you certainly want to make sure that you have enough fuel for a couple laps of overtime if we need it. We got 3 green-white checkers if we need them. But right now, up front, it is all Alex Hill, as it's been most of the night. Garrett's still on the inside. And even though they're 2 by 2, finally things look like they're starting to settle down a little bit now.
Yeah, you're right. Kenneth in that 03, that Chevy, he's in 4th position. He was doing this before, kind of hanging out the 5th, 6th spot and watching these guys up front make their adjustments and make their moves. We'll see Alex Hill drop down below here, and then you'll see Garrett jump up top. So there's so much different lead changes here at Talladega. When they cross 75 laps down, we got a lot to go. We're going to do some green flag pit stops, and that will be exciting to see here shortly.
And we're going to be coming up here on this next up on 25 to go, right, Jacob? And normally, as I said at the start of the race, that's when you're starting to say to yourself, okay, I think it's go time. But if you're in this lead pack, you're not. There's no stress. Even if you're at the back of this lead pack right now, Matt Lee, Joshua McCall, Navarro, Fitzgerald, there's no rush here. You got one more green flag stop. That's got to be your focus right now. And honestly, I'm okay with being at the back here. We've seen how sketchy some of these pit stops have been tonight. And I'll tell you what, I always worry about having somebody behind me, especially these guys being on worn-out tires. Sometimes you get slide, and if you get tagged in the back coming into the pits, it's just too hard to save it. You either get spun around or you get a speeding ticket. Certainly something you cannot afford. You got to be perfect right here. You got to get on clean, get into your box clean, don't miss the sign. You got to get out clean and get back up to speed clean. We call it the money stop for a reason, because if you hit it right, you're going to have a chance to get some money later. If you don't, your race could be over.
No, you're right. And look at this. Justin Mills looks like now he's found the pack. He's with Samuel and Andrew in that 42. But if you go back a little bit farther, that number 38, that Chevy Aubrey, and the rest of the pack, they're kind of running out of time. 25 laps to go. They need to start moving. They need a good push to get up front and catch this front pack now.
Yeah, not just running out of time, but running out of speed. Again, last time we checked, 7.8 seconds. Now it's back to over 12. And it's just so odd to me. I mean, they're single file. This front pack's double file. Theoretically, you would think, and what we see in real life, when you get single file, you run faster than you do when you're too wide, but not the case. Ooh, Ken McCall Jr., maybe with a little bit of a sour push from his teammate right there. Christopher McCall got him down on the flat coming through the trial. That was a close call, but again, everybody saves it, gets regrouped. That'll allow Alex Hill to jump back down to the bottom. Garrett Maines now up top. His Ford F-150 will get a chance to breathe. And Ashburn Billa now the lead pusher. Jason Maines up there as well. But sooner or later, you're going to start seeing people file down. We are probably about 4 to 6 laps away from that fuel window being solidly open. And we'll see if anybody decides to come down earlier. If you try to run this thing all the way to the end of the window and then come in and just get enough fuel to make it the rest of the way.
Yeah, cautions early on, but right now, these drivers up front, the top 6, I'm going to say top 7 right now, they're doing such a good job. They're putting on a show. They're putting on display on how talented they are. They know this truck inside and out, and they're showing it on display. Alex Hill, Kenneth in the 03, Garrett Maines, Christopher in the 24, and Nash in the Toyota 39. Wonderful display of what they're doing out here at Talladega.
Tell you what, before we get this final green flag pit stop underway here in a couple laps, got a little crank it up from Talladega. Here we go. And that'll do it for tonight's segment of Crank It Up. Hope everybody did enjoy up front, starting to tag on a couple lappers. And Jacob, tell you what, that's always stressful to me as a driver. Sometimes you like lappers if it helps you catch pack, but when you're in a lead pack, the less guys you have, the better. And right now, the more they tag on, the more stressful it's going to be at the end of this thing.
Yeah, you're right. And I'll tell you what, talk about stressful. If you're the driver that's getting lapped, that's more stressful as well. You don't know where to go. You usually want to stay high, but they're going to kind of direct you where you should be. But man, oh man, they're grabbing the wheel as fast as tight as Alex Hill and Garrett Maines up front. You got to be careful with those lap cars. Still no through wide action, 2x2, but Jacob, we're in that final fuel window. It just opens right here this lap. We'll see if we see anybody come in, but still about 5-6 trucks on this outside line trying to make it work. Garrett Maines leads that, and Ashburn Billa second on the outside. Jason Maines third on the inside. It's Alex Hill, Ken McCall Jr., and Christopher McCall, Dylan Jones still in the mix as well. And talking about that second pack, still taking a couple looks. You can't give up hope. It's not over until it's over. And again, a caution
changes all this completely, but now it looks like they are back, man, over 19 seconds. So, yeah, they just cannot seem to find the rhythm. Nothing doing there, but this front pack, this final stop coming up here in just a couple laps. Alex Hill, he'll have the option to lead them in. This will be the one stop, I think, all race where maybe you see a team try a different strategy. Like if you're McCall Motorsports here, Jacob, I think maybe you try to fool everybody and go on a different lap and maybe try to get out with a little bit of a lead and control the end of this race.
Yeah, we saw a few drivers stay out and do something a little bit different than the front pack, and will we see that again? I'm not sure, but I'll tell you, Alex Hill on the inside all day long has felt really comfortable up front. Where did the race go? We're 19 laps to go at Talladega. We did 100. We were almost at 100 laps, and Garrett Main's up front now in the 29 in that Ford. He's up front.
Yeah, that was a beautiful push right there by NASCAR Miller to get Garrett clear. And Garrett, I don't think he's going to go back up here, at least not for a little while. Going to sit down there and probably get ready for the green flag pit stops. NASCAR Miller stuck up top. Nothing he can do just yet. Justin Mills, Samuel Carter at the back of this pack right now as the caboose. And the outside, again, still running strong at this point. So maybe these guys have me fooled. Again, maybe they are going to run it towards the end of this stop. And we've talked about the second pack. Let's go back and talk about the third pack real quick. We've got Foreman as we have some pit stops underway. This is going to be some of the guys towards the back of the pack. Josh Gambro, Cody Ashley, Dustin Carruthers, Steve Sizemore, Jessica Childs, Danny Barnes, saw Larry McDonald in as well, Jonathan Herbert. And so everybody that is pitting now is just hoping that we can get a caution as soon as possible, as they're going to go by the 99 now of Jimmy Emos. They're going to be coming up on a couple more lappers. There we go, Jacob. All of a sudden, now they're all hopping down in line. Brembilla Ward, two of the odd men out. And if they can get down in line, we might see the first round of pit stops this time. Here we go off of 4, and here we go. Garrett Main's going to lead him in. Ken McCall Jr. and company. Oh, we got a spin out back. It's Navarro. Up front, does everybody else keep it clean? No, Jones slides in. Tags Alex Hill. They're all wrecking on the pits. Surely this will draw the caution. Nothing yet. It does not. Oh, my goodness. That is an absolute catastrophe on the final stop. I'm a loss for words here, Jacob.
Yeah, that is 3 times now coming in the pits, and we've had major damage. Trucks everywhere getting sideways. Alex Hill, we got Mains up front. Looks like 3 or 4 trucks were the only ones that got through there clean, as now we have a caution out on the racetrack. Yeah,
I was kind of expecting that. I can almost tell you from experience that the drivers were probably lighting up race control, that needs to be a caution. I mean, fair enough, right? That took out a ton of guys. And let's go back and take a look at this. But I was just getting ready to say, if you're Nash Brambilla, you're the smartest man out there right now. He stayed out. He said, this is not worth it. I know what's about to happen. And he was able to avoid it as a result. But here we go. Let's go back to TV follow and see where this starts. We saw Navarro was the first man to spin. And then when Jones slid in, just could not stop and got ugly. So here you go. They're all going to bail off. You see Jones go low. Navarro's trying to check up, but gets tagged in the back by Matt Lee, who I think maybe was trying to stay out. And Navarro was trying to come down, and then Navarro's going to lock it up, go for a slide. Jones has to stay in it to miss it. And then as a result now, Dylan Jones, he's just not going to be able to get checked up nearly in time. He's on the bottom. Things are all going to tighten up. And watch this. He's going to slide up, and, I mean, almost nobody escapes this. I think Garrett Mains is just about the only one that's able to miss this. Alex Hill, you already see Jason Mains getting in too hot further back. Looks like that's, I believe, one of the lappers getting in too hot as well. Joshua McCall, Justin Mills in the back. Sammy, man, I mean, this just clicks everyone.
Yeah, I think what may have happened, you see that front truck get spun early on, and you don't really focus on when that line's coming. You're looking at that truck, and then you start looking down, and you're going too fast. They lock up the brakes, and everyone's getting sideways, and man, just wild to see on pits. You don't typically see mayhem like that at Talladega on pit lane.
No, you certainly don't, but it's not that easy to go from 190 miles an hour down to 45 in a short shoot on old tires when you're going 4 and 5 wide. Ooh, man, that was a big hit to the front end of Justin Mills as Navarro gets back through. Joshua McCall, David Sheets. So they were all able to get it sorted out. Let's ride on board here with Dylan Jones, and I think this will tell the story right here. This is exactly just about what I kind of thought happened here. And so watch, when he sees Navarro spin, I think he's going to gas it up to get around. Let's take a listen. Yeah, so he doesn't gas it up, but he can't get on the brakes, because if he does, then Navarro's going to slide right in front of him. He T-bones him, and that probably ends his night. So you can't put it on Dylan Jones. I mean, he didn't really have any choice there. He had to do what he had to do. Fortunately, it just didn't work out in this situation. And boy, when he slid in, he collected a ton of them. And I think ultimately this sparks with Matt Lee, and we'll take a ride from his cockpit view as well. And I think in his justice, sometimes when you're a little bit slow, if you're one of the drivers taking the outside, if somebody's staying out, they can't tell. But here we go. Watch from Matt Lee's view. Yeah, it's hard to say if Matt Lee was pitting, but yeah, I think he was trying to, but yeah, he just didn't check up in time there. Maybe thought that Navarro was going to go lower or brake later. So that's what gets Navarro turned around. And those two have worked together a lot before, so you got to think maybe just some sort of miscommunication. Obviously, nothing intentional, but I think Dylan Jones was one of the guys that probably got the worst of this. I want to take one more look at this. The fans. We always talk about the fans. Boy, did they get a good view of this one here. First, let's see if we take a look here from pit lane 3. No, we're going to go to the fan cam straight away. And watch this. This happens right in front. And when he turns them around, he turns a couple of them just different ways and just becomes a moving roadblock to a degree. Christopher McCall with an early box gets through that one relatively unscathed. And so with that, go back live and up front. And it is Alex Hill being scored as your leader. No surprise there. He's been the man all night up to this point. Christopher McCall in second. John Mullahan third. Joshua McCall fourth. Justin Mills in fifth. Andrew Navarro in sixth. Ken McCall Jr. back in seventh. John Ward eighth. Dylan Jones in ninth. Garrett Maines currently rounding out your top 10. Samuel Carter back in 11th. Mark Vondell 12th. Danny Esselman 13th. Matt Lee in 14th. Trevor Oswornoff rounding out your top 15. Coming around, I think we'll get the one to go this time. And I should note that everybody's plenty good to go in the fuel window. So, Jacob, it's go time. Gloves are coming off.
Yeah, you were going through the field, and I was just looking at all these names, and the top 20 drivers right now are in the mix. There's a lot of time to make a move. They're no longer in that second pack. They're up there in the front. Anything can happen. I think we're going to go 14 to go when we go back green, maybe 13 here, and it's anybody's race. I can't wait. Alex Hill in the 77 in that Chevy, he's been up front all day long. I think he's comfortable up there. Can he make it happen? As we got some trucks involved under caution.
Man, that's not something you want to happen. Yeah, I think they're okay. Nobody got turned into the wall, but yeah, that's Cole Fitzgerald. Or excuse me, go back, Cole Fitzpatrick. I keep thinking I've been calling him Fitzgerald this race. I apologize, Cole. I've seen you way too many times be mistaken your name, but here we go. Zach Range and Cole Fitzpatrick. Watch this. Yeah, Range just gets into the back of him there. There's a bit of a checkup, and it does turn Cole around. I don't think that's temper. I think that's just a bit of a stack-up effect. But, again, they both save it. I don't think there's any damage there. Just maybe a little bit of, what are you doing, man? Pay a little bit more attention. But they'll continue on. Before we get back green here, though, see if we can get a quick word with Christopher McCall, who's been having a solid night up to this point. Hey, Chris, this is Austin and Jacob up in the booth. You got a copy?
I got you.
Well, it's been a solid night, and all of a sudden you get a crazy sequence of pit stops. Looks like you were able to come through it mostly unscathed, so now you find yourself at the front. How you feeling about your chances of taking home $300 tonight?
I feel pretty good. I feel pretty good about getting a good solid top 5. I seen Dylan cooking it on entry, so I was able to check up and let him slide on by. So a little luck went my way. I ain't had much lately, but we're going to see how it goes. There's a lot of good drivers up here.
Well, we've seen the outside line really rolling tonight, but at the same time, we've also seen the leader trying to control. At this point in the race, do you find teammates, since you got one behind you, do you just stay on the outside, or if you get in the front, do you still have to try to control both lanes?
You got to control both lanes if you want to win this race, and then just hope you got to push at the end. That's about all you can do.
All right, we've been doing a good job at it so far here tonight. We'll see if you can come home with a victory here tonight. Good luck.
Thank you, sir.
Christopher McCall let him back just as we get ready to go green. It is going to be 13 laps to go at Talladega. Who is going to win the $300? Back into the restart zone, and through the gears we go.
Alex Hill with a good jump on the inside again. Getting some help with Christopher in the 24. John on the outside. He's at that number 2 truck.
And 2 by 2. Oh, man, Joshua McCall. Man, he just slid into a gap behind John Mullahan. That was a close call, but this will line McCall Motorsports up 1-2 on the bottom. I thought we had one on the wall out back. Looks like they save it. Christopher McCall, though, with a big push to Alex Hill. He's wanted to get him clear and get him to the bottom so he can get back to the outside, but as you heard it there, you've got to control lanes if you want to win this race, so I don't think Alex is going to be sitting on the bottom, but if you're Andrew Navarro and John Ward, this is where you get up on the wheel. Ooh, Christopher blinking out a little bit. Where'd he go? He reappears Man, that was scary for Andrew Navarro. Still 2x2 up front, but Jacob, we're going to be coming to 12 to go, and this is where you start to see that third lane get fired up. Who's going to be the first one out there?
Yeah, I thought that front pack was going to run away with it, but that backpack caught up, and now we're side by side. You got guys like Garrett Maines up there in the front. Samuel in that number 85, he's up 8 spots. He caught the pack. It's anybody's race right now in this front group. 12 laps to go. We got a good race on our hands right now at Talladega, Austin.
Yeah, you got a lot of McCall Motorsports drivers scattered right now throughout your top 5 and your top 10. Some of the Maines boys as well, but it's the solo teammate tonight for Dale Cup. Alex Hill is still out in front, controlling lanes. Man, push is starting to come to shove. John Ward, Garrett Maines, maybe those are the first two. John Ward's got some damage on the front of his truck. Looks like he hit a light pole. Not sure where he got it from, but that could hinder him if he has to go try to lead a lane. He'll jump to the bottom, wants no more of that outside. Further back, some of the guys that have been sitting back all night, they're ready to go. Mark Vondell catching a draft off his teammate Ken McCall Jr. Further back, a couple more going to hop to the top. Brandon Broadfoot, Jeff Merck trying to get lined up. Broadfoot back to the bottom. That's actually Stamper down the back bumper of Jeff Merck. Up front, still 2x2, but now it's Mullahan with the lead on the bottom. He's got a teammate behind him. Up top, it's Alex Hill and Christopher McCall.
Yeah, once we go 10 to go within that 10 laps, man, I'll tell you, there was a lot of give and take early in this race, but if you don't have a teammate out front, you won't see that as much. You'll see some trucks get left behind if you make a mistake right here. Alex Hill jumps back to the inside lane where he's been all day long. Can he hold off the rest of the trucks behind him?
The 77 of Alex Hill back to the bottom, but here we go. Keep your eye on the third lane. Matt Lee trying to get something going. He's got his teammate and Jeff Merck with him. Vondell will jump to the bottom. This may hinder the momentum just a little bit. Only 2 trucks, but the more you get, the more they start to want to jump out. Who is going to be the next taker? Nobody just yet, and they continue to not be able to make any momentum just yet. John Ward, though, jumped to the outside. He's got some damage, but does he take the risk? Now we're going to see a couple more. Looks like Ron Morris Jr. has made his way to that third lane.
Haven't talked about him a whole lot. Jeff Merck in that 60, that Chevy, he's on the outside trying to make it work. 76 of Ron Morris Jr., he was a lap down, finds himself in the top 16 spot. Can he make a run to the front?
And now,
action left, 10 laps to go.
Man, that was a close call, Jacob. Again, didn't mean to cut you off right there. I saw Chris jump to the top, got a little wobbly in the process. Alex Hill wanted to push him clear. He did just that. Aubrey Thompson, one of the guys further back that had tried to get in that third lane, nothing doing, so he had to get back down in line. But as we hit 9 laps to go, final 10 are underway. The 76, contact out back. Aubrey Thompson, what a save. Oh my goodness, Thompson with 45 degrees both ways saves it. Parkman loses it as well. He has to go down to the apron. Aubrey Thompson may have just had the save of the race, and if he finishes in the money spot, you'll have to go back to that move. Oh my goodness, we have got to go back and take a look at that. Meanwhile, back up front, still 3 wide.
Yeah, take a look at this. We got a run on the outside, 3 wide. The 77 jumps out front. Now he's going back on the inside, makes a run. The 03, can he make it work? Now we got a Maines up front, up top.
Garrett Maines as he moves to the top. This is where all the chips get put on the table. Garrett Maines, Ken McCall Jr. in the third lane. Does anybody dare try a fourth? A lot of fishtailing right now. Everybody pushing as hard as they can. Joshua McCall third on the bottom, making fourth as his teammate Christopher McCall gets back clear. And I'll tell you what, Jacob, if you're Chris, this is actually a better spot. You want them to be 3 wide. When they're 3 wide, it's a lot easier to jump up to the middle without worrying about being split.
No, you're right, but watch out. Garrett Maines on the outside. He's going to get some help here, I believe. If he doesn't, he's going to fall back some spots. But right now, you see a truck jump up there. They're 3 wide. Can Garrett make a run on the outside to make it happen? Chris, in that 24, the Chevy, he's on the inside looking very strong. He's got the 42 pushing him. 77 now is going to make a run.
That top's been dominant all night, but right now, contact! Oh my goodness. Between the 30 of Stamper and the 03 of Ken McCullough. Man, that was another close call. Christopher McCall in the middle with Andrew Navarro, the 77 of Alex Hill on the bottom. Mullahan almost up in the door of Jones, the outside. And when I say the outside, I'm talking the third lane. Still no momentum going. They've got the numbers, but just nothing doing right now. Garrett Maines, Ken McCall Jr. starting to fall back. We'd been talking about the weather and the track temp all night. Talk about it one more time. 82 degrees, still cool, and you got to wonder, is that part of the reason now that bottom is really rolling? Christopher McCall and Alex Hill tandemed up, and Andrew Navarro has got nothing for him at the moment.
Yeah, I think you're right. And Garrett's only got a few more laps before he has to make a decision. Does he fall back in line to try to get that run? Because the outside definitely is not working 3 wide. The 77 of Alex Hill, I keep talking about him, but he's been in this position all day long. That inside lane right next to the 24.
Boy, Vondell got sent through the grass right there. Maybe tagged from behind. He saves it. He's trying to get back up, though. Nobody letting him back up. Oh, him and Broadfoot get into a little bit of a... Oh, they're going to wreck. Oh, man. And Vondell with a big hit. He slides back up. Oh, another big hit. As everybody else tried to miss him, Broadfoot, I think, was able to get by the second time. There's Broadfoot now arriving on scene. He'll sneak by the inside. There was a lot of elbowing of those two trucks, and I don't think either one of those guys is going to be too happy with each other right now. Brings out your 5th caution of the night. Man, we had some phenomenal racing up front right there. And now this is probably going to send us to 2 to go from the looks of it. 2 or 3 to go. I'm thinking 2. But let's go back and break down this caution. I don't think there's much to break down for this one. I think this is just 2 guys, and maybe with a little bit of a disagreement here or something. Not sure, again, why they were giving each other such a hard time about it. Here we go. Watch from the chopper view first. So Mark Vondell is going to actually get sent down in the grass in the trial, but watch 59 as, yeah, he just gets, looks like, I'm trying to figure out, was he, I don't think he was up a lane. I don't think he was here. We'll slow that down one more time, but that's the 49 machine that was right in the middle of Josh Gambrone. And so Mark in the 59. Mark is up probably about half a lane right here. And at the same time, Josh Gambrone's maybe down a quarter of a lane, and he gets him just a little bit in the right rear. That sends Mark up into Trevor Osbornoff, and then that sends the 59 down. He takes the shortcut through the grass, mows the lawn a little bit, and then right here tries to come back up. Brandon Broadfoot was there, and at that point, there's nothing Broadfoot can do because they're 4 wide. Broadfoot's got Mark just in front of him. But, again, Mark trying to save it. So there's a little contact there. No harm, no foul. They save it. Broadfoot, I think, net codes into Mark a little bit. Mark's got to come back up. They're coming on the turn here. Broadfoot at this point does have some room, but just not going up. They make some more contact. And then now at this point, Broadfoot's just going to get back down into his door. And then I think at this point he loses it. Yeah, 45 degrees sideways. Gets all the way down into him. And then that's going to send Vondell up. Look at this hit. Boom, 59. Clobbers the wall. Jason Maines right in the middle of that as well with nowhere to go, gets sent up in the air. And I want to go back before we go any further. We need to take a ride on board. As Jacob, me and you both know that'll tell the story a lot better. I mean, did you see anything that I'm missing here? Well, hold on. Before I say that, let's take an onboard view. And I don't think there was any ill intent there from Broadfoot. Just maybe a little bit of inexperience there. I'm not sure if he was just caught up in the fact that how chaotic it was and just didn't turn him up. I'm not sure there. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't think so, man. I think it's just a racing deal. There's a lot of stuff going on, and I was going to talk about the truck that went into the grass and came back out and kept it pretty clean with some net code going on. But, man, unfortunate. We're going to have, 2 to go after this caution, and I feel like, I don't want to say this, but I think it's going to happen. This might not be our last caution. Yeah,
I wouldn't think so either. And we got 3 green-white checkers for a reason because we might need to use them as we go back live here, back up front. Christopher McCall still being scored as your leader, and yeah, it's going to be a guaranteed 2 to go as long as they get the 1 to go. This time it'll be a natural green-white checkered, so we would still have those 3 green-white checkers if we need them. Currently in second, it's Joshua McCall. By the way, both of those drivers up over 30 positions from where they started this race at. Alex Hill, third. He'll be the lead pusher on the inside. Navarro will be the lead pusher on the outside. He'll roll off fourth. John Mullahan in fifth. Dylan Jones sixth. Kenneth Stamper in seventh with Justin Mills eighth. Trevor Osbornoff ninth. And Garrett Maines rounding out your top 10.
Yeah, and for those everyone watching at home, if you think it's easy to start from the back, you got Joshua in that 05. He's up 28 spots. You got Christopher up 38 spots in that 24. He's now leading. It is not easy to do that. If you're in the back and you make your way through the field, especially with the lineup of drivers we have tonight, it is so tough, and they make it look easy. Man, I'll tell you what, being on the track with these guys racing in money leagues, you got to have some teammates. You got to have some respect, and they're showing it. They're kind of telling the story here at Talladega. Great racing, Austin.
A lot of talent out here, that is for sure. Before we get back green, see if we can get a quick post-interview here with Mark Vondell, see if he can break down a little bit more what happened right there. Hey, Mark, this is Austin and Jacob up in the booth. You got a copy? And we'll give him just a moment here. Try him one more time, see if we can get him. Looks like he is currently in the pits. Hey, Mark Vondell, this is Austin Jacob of the booth. Got a copy?
Hey, Austin, how you doing, bud?
Good. Well, man, we hate to see what happened, and we don't mean to, I guess, kick you while you're down. We just want to see if we could get a post-interview here on what exactly happened. It was kind of an odd look for us. Did you and Broadfoot just get together? Was there any tension between that, or just a little bit of a mistake?
I think it was a little of both. I think it was just heat of the moment. I got hit from the top, and it took me down, and I thought I could get back in. And I pulled back on slowly. I thought I did. I was probably wrong, but I was trying to pull back on slowly, and I guess we banged doors, and he just wouldn't give me the space. So it ended up, I don't know if he turned the wheel on me, getting sick of me being there or not, but whatever it is super speedway racing, bud.
Well, we appreciate you giving us a quick breakdown on that. Sorry that it had to end that way, man. You were looking fast at the end, but thanks again for talking to us.
All right, thanks, Austin.
All right, put him down. And Jacob, I think he analyzed that just about perfect. Said maybe a little bit of both, which is kind of what I was thinking in the back of my head. And it's a tough break for both of those drivers. It's going to hurt both of them, and it looks like end Mark Vondell's nights. Not sure. I think Brandon Broadfoot is still out here running, but he's going to certainly have his work cut out. And we will see who can get their way into these final money positions. Boy, Christopher McCall, he is due for a big one. Can he get it done right here?
Yeah, you're right. Going back to Mark, you can kind of hear it in his voice. Little frustration there. You might hear a little more chatter after the race when this is all said and done. But pace car lights are off. We're going to go back green. 24's up front. Alex Hill's in second. Andrew in that 42, that Toyota's in third. That's your top three. John in that number 2, the Chevy, fourth. And we got Dylan Jones in the 31 in fifth position. Austin, pace car's off, and we're going to go back green with 3 to go.
Yes, sir. And guess what? Everybody comes here. They watch the 100-lap broadcast, but they're all here for the last 2. It's the best part to call, and it's the most fun to watch. Here we go. Green, white, checkered at Talladega. Green flag is back in the air. Christopher McCall on the inside. Alex Hill on the outside, side by side across the line right off the get-go. Everybody through the gears smooth. Looks like the outside, a little bit of disorganization in the third row. Joshua McCall not up to the back bumper of his teammate. Which lane will have the momentum? Christopher McCall will get clear. Does he jump up or does he stay down as they go down the Alabama gang backstretch?
Yeah, Christopher shockingly got a bad jump on the inside. The 77 of Hill kind of ran away with it, but now they're side by side. The 24 is losing a lot of spots. He's dropping all the way back. Not sure what's wrong with that truck.
He blinked at the worst time. It sets him up. Man, that's a horrible break for Chris. Nothing he can do now. On the outside, he's got a teammate trying everything he can. But as they come out of turn 4, if we make it, it'll be official. We're not going to. Ken McCall Jr. back into the pack. Into the outside. Wally stays there for now. Maybe we do. More contact further back up front. They make it. White flag is in the air. 1 lap to go at Talladega.
They make it. It is still green. White flags out. 77 up front. Alex Hill in that Chevy. He's on the inside. He's been there all day long. Can he stay up front and get the $300 on the money race here tonight?
It's been the man in charge looking to close the deal off. 77, final time down the backstretch. John Mullihan still to push on the outside. Here comes Justin Mills and Joshua McCall. Christopher McCall, he's not out of it just yet, but Mullihan, he'll get clear. And if his teammate gets a run, watch for the 2 to jump up. Nothing doing just yet. 4 trucks on the bottom, make it 2. Andrew Navarro jump up to the top. No block yet from Mullihan. Final time out of turn 4. Alex Hill now jumps to the top. Big block. Navarro into the wall. It's over for him. Alex Hill in the middle. For another block back to the bottom. They all wreck out back. It is going to be a drag race, but Alex Hill, he wins it in the 77.
In Talladega fashion, big wreck as they cross, but Alex Hill and John is in second. Alex Hill in the 77, your Chevy, is the winner tonight.
Oh my goodness. Well, he had to be aggressive, maybe overstepped a little bit. I don't think Navarro's going to be too happy, but I don't think he cares because he has taken home $300. Let's go back and break down this finish before we go any further. Man, I was about out of breath trying to call that one, Jacob. There was so much going on from about the time we went through halfway through 3 and 4, the rest of the way out back. They see Samuel Carter spinning, but here we go. Let's go to the TV follow for this. So here you go. Navarro, he gets on the outside. He gets a phenomenal run. Alex jumps up. Navarro knows it's coming. He says, okay, I'll go a lane higher. And right here, Alex Hill, he tries the second block. You get one. You don't really get two. He tries it. We'll have to see an onboard from Navarro, but it puts him in the wall from the view of it there. And at this point now, Alex Hill gets Joshua McCall, holds that block. Now he goes to the bottom. There's some contact out back. Goes back to the top again. Monahan's got no draft. They're 3 wide and wrecking behind. But up front, it is all the 77. So we go.
Yeah, I mean, big testament to him staying up front. So much action in the back. Contact. Managed to stay clean and stay up front. Got the win. $300 in his pocket tonight. Fantastic job for him. John as well in that 0-2. He finishes second. He's going to get some money. And Justin Mills, where did he come from? That 28, that Chevy's up 10 spots. He's third. Money for him. Joshua in the 0-5. He's up 28 spots. He's in fourth. And Dylan Jones, he's your top 5. That is your top 5 right there at Talladega tonight.
Yeah, that was part of the drag race that we saw coming to the finish here. Wow, hard wreck out back for Matt Lee, Garrett Maines, Christopher McCall, who unfortunately ends in that position after the bad luck he had there with the blink that sent him 3 wide, got him on the outside. But Justin Mills, who did sweep third, part of that 3 wide finish right here at the line. And man, boy, it never disappoints here. I'll tell you what, Jacob, we have done these quite a few times, and every time you get something different. No 2 super speedway races ever end the same. Let's take a look at your finishing results here for the night. Talked about Alex in first, John Mullahan second, Justin Mills rounding out your podium. It's Joshua McCall finishing fourth, Dylan Jones in fifth, Jeff Mert, there you go, is going to snap the streak with a top 6 finish. Aubrey Thompson back in seventh, Andrew Navarro eighth, John Warden ninth, Nash Brambilla rounding out your top 10, Christopher McCall in 11th, Kenneth Stamper 12th, Ron Morris Jr. in 13th. Danny Esserman finishes back in 14th with Matt Lee in 15th. Dustin Carruthers in 16th with Cody Atchley in 17th. Garrett Maines, not the run he wanted tonight, finishes up in 18th. Moving on back to 19th, it's David Sheets. And rounding out your top 20 here tonight, it's going to be Brandon Broadfoot. Cole Fitzpatrick finishes 21st. Steve Sizemore in 22nd. Zach Range 23rd. Larry McDonald 24th. Ken McCall Jr. in 25th, Jason Maines 26th, Samuel Carter in 27th, Josh Gambro in 28th, Chris Parkman 29th, and Danny Barnes rounding out your top 30. Brett Myers 31st, Trevor Osmanoff 32nd, Jonathan Herbert 33rd with Jimmy Emos in 34th, Mark Von Dell finishes in 35th, Jimmy Shelton in 36th, Jessica Childs in 37th, Ambrose Kniebel 38th, and Dallas Knox rounds out your 39 truck field tonight. As we go back here, we're going to go get your top 3 for interviews. But, I mean, Jacob, I got to ask you before we do that, that block that we saw by Hill, do you think it's too much, or do you call it fair play on the last lap?
Yeah, I think fair play on the last lap. He's been up there all front all day. I don't think it was a too aggressive block. I mean, there was some checkup, but man, he had every right to go up there and protect his lead, and that's what he did. And guess what? He's your winner with some money. And man, he came out and showed what he can do all day long at Talladega. I
agree, and my mindset on it, and I always say this is, we talk about you get 1, you don't get 2, and I know we said it there, but the general thing is when you go to block on the last lap at a super speedway, the guy behind you doesn't have to lift. I call that fair, and I think when you make the block, the rule is if you take the push, however they hit you, then it's a fair block. If you get spun and wrecked from it, then it wasn't a good block. And in this case, he took it. Unfortunately, Navarro does wreck from it, but he did take it, and he stayed in front. And as you talked about, he won $300. So even if in some people's minds it wasn't, he could care less because he is going home that much richer. All right, we are going to go get your top 3 for interviews. We'll be right back at Talladega. Stick with us. All right, and we're going to start first tonight with your third-place finisher, Justin Mills. Jacob Emery stands by with him.
Justin Mills, man, you got a top 3 finish here. You're up 10 spots from when you started. You got to feel pretty good getting that top 3, getting money in your pocket. What are your thoughts tonight on this race?
Man, that was a wild last couple of laps there, for sure.
No, you're right. You kept it clean at the end where it counts. A lot of chaos behind you, but for the most part, I mean, where did you start in the middle of the pack? Where were you feeling it? Where did you feel most comfortable in this race tonight?
Well, to be honest with you, I like to run up front. I don't like to ride around in the back. I don't like to have to drive through nothing. I like standing at least the top half of the field.
No, you definitely did, and congratulations to you, Justin. You got what, $175 in your pocket tonight here on this money race. A lot of big time names, a lot of big time drivers, and you made it happen. And congratulations.
Yeah, man, appreciate it.
Hey, before you go, any shout outs to sponsors? Anybody you'd like to say hi to?
John Ward, Hyper Motorsports, all my teammates, they know who they are, and y'all guys doing the broadcast, man. Y'all do a good job. Appreciate y'all.
Absolutely. Well, go celebrate, have fun, and Austin, that's Justin Mills, your top three or your third finisher. Congratulations.
Absolutely phenomenal finish for Justin Mills, as it also was for the man himself, John Mullihan from McCall Motorsports. Hey, John, this is Austin and Jacob in the booth. You got a copy?
Roger, Roger.
Man, I keep saying it, but I keep seeing you in here. It's like a streak now. I know you've had a couple of bad breaks, but overall, this last half a year, the top three finishes just keep coming. You bring home second tonight. Well, you had your hands full that last lap. You almost get wrecked coming through the tribal. You keep it together. Kind of break us down about that last half a lap.
Oh, man, it's actually been an incredible last 24 hours. We had a few races last night. I actually pushed Alex Hill to 2 wins last night. And in the middle of that, I pushed Justin Mills to a win. And as you can see, all three of us again here in the top three tonight. Tonight, incredible racing, obviously an endurance race for all of us. Happy to be there at the end. Couldn't have done it without teammates, Josh McCullough and Kenny and Sheets and all of them. And big props to Alex Hill up front and Justin Mills for the push at the end.
Well, we saw a little bit of action there right at the end with Andrew Navarro and Alex Hill. Did you think when that happened that you were going to have enough to scoop by on the inside? And what more do you think you maybe could have done on the last lap if you wanted to get the win?
Well, it's always easy looking back in hindsight, but, I'll take a top two, second place podium finish any night of the week. It did look like we had an opportunity there. Alex decided to come back down, and I'm happy with the way the cards fell tonight.
I'll tell you what, you're getting pretty good at this interview thing, and no surprise, you're getting a lot of practice with it. Keep racking up those top threes. Before we let you head out here tonight, though, is anyone you'd like to thank or shout out?
Oh, yeah, obviously. You guys up in the booth couldn't ask for a better job calling this race. Kenny and all the guys over at Kenny McCullough Motorsports couldn't do any of this without them. Both my sons, Jackson and Carter, my fiance, Brittany, all the guys at Canal Valley Key and Fob, and Will Jewelry and Loan.
Well, thank you for talking to us. Congrats again on the second place finish, and hopefully we'll see you out here next time.
Looking forward to it. Thank you.
All right, and now that brings us to your winner here tonight, Alex Hill. Alex, this is Austin Jacob in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, no teammates out here tonight, and I think a lot of people thought, okay, well, this is our chance to maybe beat some of the Dale Cup guys. Not a chance. You still come out here, dominate the field just about the entire race, and you win it. First question I got, how did you stick the block on the 42 there coming into the tribal?
I just do what I always do. I just tried to assume when he was going to go up, and I blocked him, and it worked, but it won't always work. So I think I got pretty lucky because he could have dumped me if he wanted to.
Well, certainly could have, but nonetheless, you bring home the 300. Now, we talk about the last lap so much, but you got to look in hindsight at the whole race, and you were up front the entire time. Do you think, from a driver's perspective, that makes it different on having a chance at the end of these races versus maybe trying to play it conservative the first half and then go to front in the end?
Yeah, of course. I believe if you play it conservative, you're in the back of the pack, middle of the pack, the first few runs. I mean, you're just going to get into trouble. You're going to make unnecessary contact. You're going to have to avoid wrecks like we've seen tonight. It's just a lot of stuff that you don't want to get involved in. But if you stay up front, you have a higher shot of really just making it through those wrecks and finishing.
Well, don't have to split any of the money tonight. You are the man, $300 richer. Before we let you head out, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, I actually wasn't running by myself tonight. Big shout out to Garrett Maines, Jeff Merck, and Matt Lee for helping me this entire race. Big thank you to them. Thank you to all the McCulloughs for putting this race on. I know it takes a lot to put an event like this on. And big thank you to you for broadcasting, and you, Jacob.
Well, thank you. And again, congrats on that win. Hopefully we'll see you out here next time.
All right, thank you.
All right, and that is just about going to wrap up our. Oh, excuse me. Give me 1 second here. I want to make sure I put Alex in the right channel. All right, so that is just about going to wrap up our coverage tonight of the MMS 260, 100 laps at Talladega, and it's Alex Hill who comes out the victor. Before we head off of the air for the night, though, Jacob, of course, I appreciate you being here with me, and it was a pretty fun one to watch. As John Mullahan noted, I definitely agree. It was an endurance race, both up here in the booth and on track, but at the end of the day, they put on a phenomenal race and an even better finish.
Yeah, from how it started into the finish, it's night and day. And 100 laps is a lot of laps at Talladega, but these guys put on a show, and I think for the most part, we stayed green. And a lot of the times, it was just some racing incidents and cautions, and it was fun to be a part of. And I'm excited to be back in the booth with you, Austin. So it's been a good day.
Certainly was. Well, that'll conclude our coverage here tonight. Thank you all so much for coming out. As always, I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to follow, like if you did. And until next time, have a good night and Happy New Year.